Good morning, everybody. It is 7 a.m. on Wednesday, April 26th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect cloudy skies with a high of 86. Coming up on OTB, we preview the NFL Draft, and we have a new edition of Would You Rather Wednesday. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 104.5 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number 1 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let me go!
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah!
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I gotta come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Music ended.
Colonels in charge, yeah, give me a salute. Heave your swords, Nicholls, cause we're
Okay, never mind.
Totally my bad. I misunderstood what you were saying to start the show.
Okay, wow. Ooh, that was that was one of the worst show starts I ever had. That's okay though. Look, man, we got a big show planned for you today. A little midweek action last night. Unfortunately, the Tigers fall to the Colonels last night in the midweek.
Under shady trees, red is the color that I bleed. We strive for then we achieve, so I have problems like these.
I'm a Grinch who stole Colonel Pride Day. I'm at Nicholls St, but I don't care. That's all I have to say. I wear other schools. I don't care about Nicholls. Couldn't even buy me with a 1,000,000 5-cent nickel.
Well, Mr. Grinch, listen up. That's not gonna work. So here's a new hat and a new t-shirt. Except it's great gift. You look better with it on. And we all can jam to our Colonel Pride song. Man, what it is, Colonel Pride, man. Where's your Colonel Pride, man? Lay it on the left, Colonel card in the other hand. Show that red and white, baby, show that red and white. Get some Colonel Pride that you be repping, wear it today. Who it is, Colonel Pride, man. Where's your Colonel Pride, man? Lay it on the left, Colonel card in the other hand. Show that red and white, baby, show that red and white. Get some Colonel Pride that you be repping, wear it today.
That was on the line last night. The in-state teams punching back a couple of weeks in a row. Last week was UL. This week, the Nicholls Colonels. That was a music video that my little brother made. You can tell circa, I don't know, what is that, like 2012, maybe 2013, somewhere around there. And, well, indeed, Nicholls showed their Colonel Pride last night. It was a great game. And we're going to start there. We're probably going to talk a lot of baseball here in this first hour. We'll look forward to the weekend. Jake is traveling to the NFL draft, so he will not be on the show today. But we'll be hearing from him the next couple of days. We got some college football rule changes to get into. We got NBA playoffs. There's a couple of series come to an end last night. More coming up tonight. Some transfer portal news and a lot of draft talk. As here it is, boys, the penultimate day before the NFL draft. But yeah, man, last night in the box, another great midweek matchup. And I'm really interested to talk to Jay about this tomorrow because he basically talked about how they've been treating these midweek games as a way to get, like, as a tournament setting. I'm not exactly sure what shape that takes, but last night, in their mind at least, was an elimination game. And let's hope that some good lessons were learned, as unfortunately you would have lost said elimination game. Look, and the thing is, I thought for sure that LSU was going to win that game, right? That they were going to get out of that ninth. When you have Bear Jones start with a massive home run, the back-to-back singles, walk crews to get the bases loaded. Hell, when the ball left Pelosa's bat in the ninth, I thought for sure that LSU had won. Unfortunately, kind of the theme of the night Parker Cadu and that entire Nicholls team comes up with a stellar defensive play. They preserve the win, and the field is rushed. And I'd be lying if I said that. Look, I know a lot of Colonels. I've had a lot of fun at Roxas through the years. I've watched a lot of football games down there in Thibodaux. I'd be lying if I just said that I wasn't happy for some of my Colonel family, at least in some way. Because you saw last night, like if you see, go ahead and find the end of the game from last night. And if you look at that final hit and you watch the rushing of the field, you see what that game meant to them. And in a way, here in this random Louisiana college baseball midweek game, something that the national eye and many here even don't really care too much about, you can see what sports are all about in that moment. Why we do it, why you commit your entire life to it, why you do everything that you can to be the best that you can be at that time in your life, even if you're not going to continue to play. Like maybe your career, your future doesn't actually lie there. Why do you do it? You do it for moments like what you saw out of that Nicholls team last night. I mean, you are facing down a giant, the number one team in the country, and you beat them. And you did it in the box, right? Like we talked about going into the Tennessee series, one of the most legendary venues, if not the most legendary venue in all of college baseball. And a lot of these are Louisiana kids. They know what the box is. Hell, some of them even played at LSU. Right? We'll get to West Tubes. But that's something that you're always going to remember if you're a part of that Nicholls team from last night. And it's definitely one of those career highlights that is going to stick with you. And I would say the other part about this is, and if you're watching on youtube.com/1045ESPN, I mean, look at the catch, look at the double play, look at the team. That's a special moment right there. But again, it's not just that you won, but it's how you won that game last night. That was a battle. It was a battle. There was nothing fluky about it. That was an earned win through the merit, both in the field and at the plate, especially it feels like in the field. I mean, just stellar defensive play after stellar defensive play. That's how you hold LSU to 3 hits, no runs through 6. And again, I mentioned West Tubes. Look at him. Here's a kid that's from Thibodaux, Louisiana. Very good player. Was at LSU back in 2020. Got a couple starts, played a little bit, but ultimately realized, look, LSU is hyper competitive, right? There's a ton of people on the team, ton of talent. He was going to have to find his fortune elsewhere, right? So he leaves Baton Rouge in the box. He goes back to Thibodaux. Then he comes back now as a part of the Nicholls Colonels. What does he do? Comes up with a couple incredible defensive plays there in center field, goes 2 of 4, scores a run. You're going to tell me last night didn't mean something to him? And yet, despite all that, you enter the 9th inning with a 4-4 battle, right? Nicholls manages to push 2 runs across. The Tigers come back that night, or the Tigers come back in the bottom of the 9th, and like I said, you have the immediate home run, a couple of singles, Cruz walked, bases loaded, K. Beloso, a guy who's already homered on the night, a guy who maybe is your hottest hitter, not named Dylan Cruz, on this baseball team here over the past month. And it looks like he comes up with the magic, only for a little counter magic to be wielded by Parker Cadu there. Just Cadu, just a hell of a job. Absolutely spectacular diving catch. And in the end, the Colonels win the game. So look, it's not ideal for LSU. I know what these midweek games mean to Jay Johnson and the philosophy that he's trying to instill. I know that it's about, treating every game as if it's a tournament game, and it's something that all coaches strive for. It's hard to achieve. I don't think that last night, though, was a again, I don't think last night was a function of lack of focus for this LSU team. I think it was just sometimes you have to tip the cap to the opponent, and they outplayed you with those defensive plays. Whereas you have moments like an error in the 9th that makes it a 2-run lead instead of a 1-run lead. Now, it's not all bad news for LSU despite the loss, because Thatcher Hurd had a really solid outing. And again, if we're looking for things that matter on the season as a whole, Thatcher Hurd's outing is probably going to be the story for most LSU fans. As although it wasn't like perfect or anything, He continues to move in the right direction. 4 innings pitched, 3 hits, only 1 run given up, working out of jams, 2 walks to 5 Ks. That is a guy trending the way that you want him to. And I'm not saying that it's great. Obviously, it's still not where you thought that your Herd would be entering the season, but it is better. And he continues to move towards being a viable piece of the puzzle when it comes to putting together an SEC weekend, or especially when it comes to tournament time and you get in those weird situations where you got to go deep in the pen and you got to have someone step up and do something that they haven't done before or maybe have done inconsistently. Like Thatcher Hurd seems to be becoming that piece once again. Unfortunately, outside of Hurd, I think it wasn't great. I still am kind of a bit puzzled by the year that Riley Cooper is having. He just seems to have lost it for whatever reason. Dutton was all right. Bryce Collins remains a complete wild card, right? We've seen him get it done against great teams in really big moments, and we've seen him struggle a bit. So last night, a hat tip, the Nicholls State Colonels, the Southland leading Nicholls State Colonels, a very nice win, well earned. The second midweek loss in a row for LSU. But ultimately, LSU fans take a little heart because, again, Thatcher Hurd looking better. And that's a couple appearances in a row now. Also, look, it wasn't just you. Georgia lost 9-7 last night to Georgia State. Kentucky lost to Louisville. I mean, that's ranked. That's maybe a bit different. Troy beat Auburn 8-7. Texas A&M lost to Sam Houston 9-2. And Missouri State beat Arkansas 8-4. Okay, baseball's a funny game. The variance is high. Sometimes this stuff just happens. We're on to Alabama, and we'll get there next here on OTB. Keep it locked.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Go to Riverlands Insurance, 225-206-1517, 225-206-1517. For all your insurance needs, that is Thomas Email's cell phone number, okay? Thomas and Megan Email, the father-daughter team, getting it done for you, okay? If you want to save money. And this is one of the situations where just put it to the test, right? Like, see what they can offer you. Maybe you think you're happy in your current insurance setup. Well, find out if that's true. And be like some of the listeners here recently that have put it together, during this ad read, got out their phones at 225-206-1517, and then a few hours later have hundreds to thousands of dollars of savings per year. And it's any insurance, right? If you're a business owner, construction, just a normal person with just car insurance, home insurance, it's all there for you at Riverlands. Again, the number is the most important part, 225-206-1517.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge. Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, anytime. Hunt Palmer. And after further review, Citizens Bank and Trust brings you the poll of the day via Twitter at 1045ESPN.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
Super weird, but we can take care of it.
Get in and get better at Patient Plus.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded. because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The best kept secret in town is out. Discover Tallulah at the Renaissance Hotel on Bluebonnet.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
For live coverage of the 2023 NFL Draft, starting with Round 1 Thursday at 8 p.m. and continuing Friday at 6 p.m. and Saturday at noon. Our coverage is presented locally by Rouse's, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Esther and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome in here on Off the Bench. Whoa, guys. Let's all take a deep breath here. No, Greg, don't get me. We're cool, man. Greg Lamont. I'm not panicking. I don't think I was presenting a terribly panicky first segment there. A lot of people seem very upset about last night's loss. And look, I'm not saying that you just brush off any, that you brush off any loss. Like I guess it's weird, right? Because I'm not trying to be flippant. Like last night matters. There are learning lessons to be had. Like you look at Merrifield on that last play, I get it. He's thinking, this is the game-winning run, right? I'm going all out to try to get there from second. I'm going to end this game. There's a lesson to be learned there about what you need to do in terms of rules. Now, I'm just being completely frank. I don't know baseball well enough to know that if Merrifield, how wrong what he did was. I mean, to me, I feel like you try to end the game there, and if that ball is dropped, he scores, you win. Unfortunately, it's just a spectacular play. Like sometimes you got to give credit to the opponent, right? Sure, there are learning lessons to be learned about game management. Maybe at bats, like I'm not saying that it was a like you don't hand wave it away, but at the same time, look, it's not a conference loss. You remain the best team in the country. It's a game in which you didn't have Tommy White. You're not throwing your best arms. It is what it is. Just use it to carry lessons with you going forward. Now, one thing you want to avoid here is, and Carly Woodward says, because we lost to Nicholls pretty bad. I mean, it's then saying we should definitely be knocked out of number one. No. There's no way. That's not how baseball works. Ultimately, LSU's number one ranking is not because up to the last couple of weeks they've been spectacular in the midweek. It's because they've been spectacular on the weekend, right? And that's where the focus should be. You flush this, again, you learn what you can out of it, and then you move on to Alabama. Like we said, Arkansas is not going to lose their 7th ranking because Missouri State beat them 8-4. Texas A&M remains hot in the SEC despite losing 9-2 to Sam Houston. It's the beauty of baseball and really the beauty of, like I said, sports on display last night. But whatever. Okay, we're going to move on to Alabama. I think I'm probably guilty now of giving credence to a loud minority who appear to be very upset about last night's game. It is what it is. Tip your cap to the opponent. But one thing you do want to avoid, remember Coach Johnson talked about this after the Ole Miss series in his press conference, wrapping it all up. I didn't realize LSU has not lost back-to-back games this entire season. Well, obviously, that's going to be on the line this Friday. Now, you feel good about it because you got Paul Skeens on the mound, but do not get lulled into some false sense of security because you have Paul Skeens on the mound, right? You have to be as locked in as you ever are. Do not allow Alabama to change that because let's be honest, guys, who doesn't love beating Alabama, okay? You beat their ass in football. You got your ass beat in basketball, men's, not women's. And now it's time to go ahead and take the majority there by beating their ass on the diamond. And, well, again, there's nothing I love more. And look, Bama's pretty good this year. I mean, they are a tournament team at this point. They're 30-10, so they're a 30-win team. They're 9-9 in the SEC. They got an RPI of 20. And they're playing better as of late. Now, one thing they've been really good at this year is even when they were kind of struggling to start. Now, they were great pre-conference. Like, I think they were like 16-1, something crazy pre-conference. But once they had conference play, they kept losing series. But one thing they've done all year is they've managed to get something out of the weekend, right? So the first weekend, they go on the road to Florida. They lose that series 1-2. They get the third game, though. And the second weekend, they lose a series at home against Kentucky 1-2. They travel to Arkansas. Very good team, right? Much better than Alabama. And yet they managed to take one, but they lose the series 1-2. They lose a home series to Mississippi State 1-2, which certainly had to be a bit disappointing for them given the year that Mississippi State is having. But then they finally turn it around after those 4 weekends of losing in a row. They managed to beat Auburn 2-1, and then they sweep Mizzou at home. Or, excuse me, they sweep Mizzou in Como last weekend 3-0, okay? So, I mean, you just look at that, 5-1 in their last 6 SEC games. Granted, not against the best, but when they played the best, they've at least gotten one. If you look at both Florida and Arkansas and Kentucky. So, take them lightly at your own risk. If you go half-step, and there is the potential to get punched in the nose for some sort of disaster to happen. Now, one thing I love about this LSU team is I don't think this is a team that takes things lightly. I think this team has excellent upperclassmen leadership. And one of the hallmarks of a team that has that great veteran leadership is the ability to lock in each and every game. I would certainly hope that Tommy White would potentially be back this week. And remember, that is something that they called literally day-to-day, kind of how he's feeling on that day. And maybe a day like yesterday, you even err on the side of caution a bit when determining how you're feeling. So hopefully you can get White back this week. And as we all know, what he has meant to this team. But I feel good. Obviously, I expect LSU to win the series, and we'll dive more into Alabama over the next couple of days. But obviously we do, right? They are clearly the better team. As we just said, all the best teams have managed to 2-1 Bama, whether it's been on the road or at home, and LSU gets them in the box. Now, what I would love, this is a Crimson Tide team that has not been swept all year long. You just went on the road and swept an Oxford for the first time since 2006. How sweet it would taste if we could be drinking those delicious elephant salty tears come Monday because they got swept for the first time all year long, and you threw their 9-9 SEC record to 9-12. Ooh, it would make me so happy. All of a sudden, you would be kind of potentially imperiling their tournament chances, their tournament hopes. So let's crush the Tide this weekend. And other LSU baseball news, we basically already knew it. But Chase Shores comes out on Twitter and officially confirms that he has been ruled out for the rest of the season with a UCL tear. According to Lee Evans sources, he had Tommy John surgery last week. And, it's weird because, again, it's not as much news as it is confirmation. But when you get the confirmation and then you're reading an article about it and you see the stats that Shores had put up, you do kind of go through a little bit of the pain all over again when you think about the year he was having and what he could mean to this team that has, national championship aspirations. Against A&M, Arkansas, and Tennessee. This is a freshman, a 6'8", man-sized freshman against A&M, Arkansas, and Tennessee, some of the best teams in the SEC. He had a 1.96 ERA in 18 1/3. Struck out 15, walked 9, and that's at the beginning of his year, of his career. Feasibly could have gotten better and better throughout the season. So it's a brutal blow, man, especially for Shores personally. I mean, it definitely hurts the team, but here Chase Shores is. He's a true freshman. He's getting his opportunity. Every time he's getting the opportunity, he's doing better and better. He's giving you these huge moments, and he had to be loving it. And now he deals with what no athlete wants to deal with, the most brutal of all breaks, injuries and bad injury luck. And it's an injury that's a bit odd, Tommy John, to me, because generally you come back and you are able, the vast majority of the time, you are able to achieve what you could do pre-surgery. Unfortunately, it's a long road, right? And that long road to recovery can feel very intimidating at the onset when you've got 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, however long it ends up being till Chase Shores can once again go out there like we see Javen Coleman now once again out there. I think the key, and here's a little friendly advice for any young athletes out there. I've had 2 labrum surgeries, ACL surgery. I got a plate with a few screws put in my leg to fix a broken bone. The key to maintaining your sanity is to, and this is very cliche, and I guess it's really the key to a lot of things in athletics and life, but it's to be present, right? Only focus on the task at hand. Put the blinders on. What is next? Do not allow yourself to go into the mental spiral or fall into the wormhole of thinking of, oh my God, I've got a month in a sling. I've got 2 months before I can even pick up a baseball game. Like 3. Like I don't know what the timeline is on the UCL stuff, but the point being, don't allow yourself to think about the big picture. Just what's the next thing? Okay, it's my doctor's appointment. Okay, it's the actual surgery. It's the immediate post-surgery recovery. It's this physical therapy session. It's this jogging session, this throwing session. And as you do that, is you keep your blinders on, you focus in. Like one day you're going to look up, you're going to be throwing. You're going to be feeling better. And then one day you're going to look up and you're going to be back out there in the box in the 9th, getting a big-time SEC save when your team needs it most. So it sucks for Shores, but he's young, okay? And again, this is something that, there's a lot of data out there that you can be good to go. You can recover from this and return to being the pitcher that you were before. And obviously in Shores' case, that means getting even better because he's so young that he won't even just attain what he was before, but he'll continue to improve as he would have improved before. All right. Coming up next here on OTB, let's change the topics a little bit. Look, LSU baseball, really tough loss, but hey, tip of the cap. Let's go. We're moving on the weekend. Screw Alabama. We hate the Crimson Tide. Who doesn't hate the Crimson Tide? Let's get some college football rule changes that were in the news next here on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com, All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. The reason why I'm mentioning the website is because it's a great resource, man. If you want to find your next Toyota, you can check out some of the great deals that they have, whether it's like buy 3 tires, get 1 free. Maybe, for military members, recent graduates, they always got spectacular deals going down. You can actually order and customize your next vehicle right there on the website with All-Star Express. But if you're like me, I'm cool with buying stuff on Amazon. I'm a little nervous still about buying a car off of the internet. So why not go see them over there, right there off Airline Highway, because the sales staff is second to none. And they are going to get it lined up for you and your family exactly what you need, whether it's a truck, minivan, Sequoia, Camry, and whether you're looking to buy new, Toyota certified used vehicles, lease, or just rent. It's all there at All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
At Corbell Toyota Toyota in Opelousas, you can get 3.99% financing on select 2023 models. And we also have a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corvell Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Hello, Samantha, dear, I hope you're feeling fine. And it won't be long until I'm with you all the time. But until then, I spend my money up right down on my last dime. Come on, live Baton Rouge. I'm ready, what you put me on through. Gotta send my love down to
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench, Hanny Time, Hunt Palmer, and
Sandgrove, join us for the Wednesday edition of Hanny Time. Scott Rabelais from The Advocate joins us. We do first class, second class, no class, and we are 24 hours away from the NFL draft. Hanny Time, noon weekdays, 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Ooh, Creamy Thigh Day. What's up, boys? Welcome back to OTB. Hit the like button for the Creamy Thighs if you're watching on YouTube. Very pleased right now. I sent a last-second Hail Mary text, as I always do, to one of my favorite people to enjoy what his work. One of my favorite writers, but also just one of my favorite people, and that is my man, Jeff Duncan, NOLA.com, Times-Picayune. If you're wondering why Jeff hasn't been here in a while, he's been working on a big project. Jeff, what's going on, man? How you doing this morning?
T-Bob, Jake, I'm doing great, man. Draft week, Jazz Fest week. It's hard to be doing better in New Orleans, Louisiana.
Hell yes, man. Man, I kind of dropped the ball there. I forgot it was Jazz Fest week, dude. John Baptiste going to be tearing it up over the weekend. Okay, but Jeff, here. So people may be wondering why you haven't been on OTB in a while. I texted you back February 23rd, right? And I was like, hey, man, you come on this morning. and you're like, look, I can't. I kind of got to bury myself. I got a big major book deadline I'm working on. That is all I know about the project. What have you been doing for the last couple of months?
Yeah, we're still in the middle of it, working with Steve Gleason, former Saints.
Wow.
I think most of your readers, viewers and listeners are familiar with Steve, right? We're working on his memoirs, and the book should come out. We're hoping to come out in January with Knopf Publishing, and it's been an extraordinary experience. We're still kind of deep in the throes of it, but I came up for air for a few days for the draft, so your timing was perfect, T-Bob.
Well, that's awesome, man. I had no idea that's what the project was. I look forward to it. I loved Peyton and Breeze and the shaping of the NFL's greatest modern offense. You should still go check out if you're a New Orleans Saints fan and you have not. Just had unprecedented access and did a great job of, really taking you behind the scenes of the best time in Saints history. And, Jeff, it's kind of a perfect segue because this offseason, this season, to me at least, is so important. And it's why I cheered on the Derek Carr news and why I like this win now attitude. I feel that the Saints now need to prove that they can win outside of the Peyton and Breeze era. If you look at franchise history, they have been bad for the vast majority of it, right? And they had this incredible 15-year run. If they immediately go back to being bad, well, then all of a sudden, you were never good. It was just these two guys, right? Or at least that becomes the narrative. That becomes the idea. How important is it to you? Like, they're not going to win a championship this year, but how important is it to you to do something like winning the South or making the playoffs?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great point, and I think it's very valid. I mean, when you lose generational leaders like Drew Brees and Sean Payton, there's going to be a transition. His history tells us that if you look around the league. It's hard enough just to replace a Hall of Fame quarterback like Brees, but when you throw in a Hall of Fame level coach like Payton, I think the challenge is even greater, and I think we saw that last year. I think the whole organization suffered. I know a lot of people want to blame Dennis Allen, and he's the head coach, and that comes with the territory. But I felt like kind of everyone, players, some of the leaders in the locker room, there was just a lot of letdown, and they kind of finally got everything together in the second half, and it was too late. So I agree. I think there's a lot to prove here. I think everyone on Airline Drive knows that, including Mickey Loomis. I think he feels a little of that, knowing that a lot of people view this as a two-man, road show with Peyton and Breeze, and I think he wants Dennis Allen to be successful because of that.
Yeah, I mean, look, you think about Roman history and the first triumvirate. A lot of people know the names Caesar and Pompey. Not as many know Crassus, the the money man, who unfortunately actually Crassus, in an attempt to prove his military might, ended up dying in the desert. So let's hope that doesn't turn out true for our guy Loomis. Draft day tomorrow, though, Jeff. And look, it seems like interior defensive tackle help, maybe tight end somewhere along the lines. I'm not sure how much you've been engaging in mock drafts with the book preparation. Where do you think the Saints' biggest needs are? What maybe do you expect them to do in tomorrow's first round?
Well, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, knowing how they work, they like big men. I mean, you would love that, T-Bob. These guys value trench warfare. I mean, they understand that God only made so many big men that can move, right? And those guys are valuable. So I tend to follow along those two lines of scrimmage, especially where they're drafting, too. Lower in the first round, you get great value along the lines. And I think their front seven is a little bit of a sneaky worry spot. They lost a lot of talent in free agency. They're getting a little long in the tooth with Cam Jordan and Demario Davis. And I think one thing for fans to understand, decision makers at the NFL level, they're not necessarily using this draft. We all tend to look at it myopically and say, what do they need this year? And they're looking 1 and 2 years down the line at their roster. And so it wouldn't surprise me for them to find an eventual replacement for Cam Jordan or Demario Davis if they're available. But the truth be told, when you're drafting 29th, nobody knows who you're going to get. You don't know. You're too much a victim of circumstance at that point. Too many things can happen in front of you, good and bad. And so I think there's a cloud or a bullpen, however you want to call it, of maybe a handful of players that they'll be happy to get. But at that point, it wouldn't surprise me to see the Saints. Historically, they've traded up. If one of their, say, top 15 players on their board is suddenly there at early 20s, they're going to go up and get him. They're going to make a move, trade a third-round pick. That's just how they work. But who that player is and who it is that falls, they don't really quite know yet.
I'm talking to Jeff Duncan, TimesPicayune.com, at Jeff Duncan _ on Twitter. And, Jeff, it's funny. We opened today's show, and look, it was a great midweek baseball game at LSU last night. Hell of a job by Nicholls. Very exciting game. Actually, a lot of meat to chew on if you care about that stuff. And I do, but I would have much rather opened the show talking about playoff basketball. And yet we're kind of left outside looking in here with the New Orleans Pelicans, but it is a bit of a mixed bag. I know that how everything went down is going to dictate that everybody's just going to be upset with the season, say it's a complete failure. And I'm not saying anybody's wrong, but you do go 42-40. It's your first winning season in the past 5, second in the past 8, third in the last 13. You didn't have your stars for the majority of the year. How do you evaluate this past season for the New Orleans Pelicans?
Well, it has to be a disappointment. There's no doubt, especially from where they were at earlier in the year. We saw the potential. I think that was the worst part of that one stretch when Zion was on the court and we saw Brandon Ingram playing with them. We saw them winning and up near the top of the Western Conference standings. Everyone saw what the potential of this team could be, and it never got realized, and it hasn't. We've been, I think as fans, as media, we've been hanging on this promise of hope, right? I mean, it's kind of like recruiting or free agency. You keep selling hope, and that's what we've heard from Pelicans camp. And I think the frustration is built because we continue to fall short of those expectations. And I think David Griffin, Trajan Langdon, they know that. Willie Green knows it. I mean, they cannot go through this offseason and sit still. I think they've got to make some changes, personnel, building around their core, the big three, and then they've got to make a deep run next year. They've run out of excuses, I guess, T-Bob. If they don't make a big run next year, there's going to be some serious changes in that front office.
So I'll ask you a question that is arguably unfair because I don't know, how any of us would have the information to answer this accurately, but maybe in your opinion or your view on the situation, when it comes to getting Zion right, is it more on the franchise or is it more on Zion Williamson himself?
Oh, I definitely think it's on Zion. I think we finally saw David Griffin come and call him out, basically. Mm-hmm. And he did it in his way, right? Nurturing, that's Griff's personality. But I think for too long they protected him out there, and rightfully so. He's the franchise player. They want him to be on board. They want him to be happy. We know he has somewhat of a mercurial camp around him. And I think there's been a lot of walking on eggshells because of that, and it's created a lot of confusion in the fan base, people not understanding what these injuries are. Why is he flying out to Portland? And all of this has been done, in my opinion, to protect Zion Williamson and his camp. And I think finally the gloves came off and people started, saying what it is. It's basically Zion having to mature. He has to take being a professional more seriously, being at rehab when he's supposed to be at rehab, and things that have not so far occurred at Pelicans camp. He's got to grow up, basically. And if you read between the lines, T-Bob, with what C.J. McCollum said and some of the other vets on the team, you could tell exactly what they were saying.
Yeah, no, I 100%. And so hopefully that'll happen this offseason. Last one for you, Jeff. I don't know if you saw this, but Sean Payton was talking to media in Denver, and he was saying that the analytics here, they're just on a different level than what we had in New Orleans, right? And basically praising the advancements of what the Broncos have versus what the Saints were employing. Is this as simple as, look, new guy ingratiating with the new fan base, or do you find some legitimate criticism there?
Yeah, no, I think that's the former. I think he's just trying to play to the local crowd there. Sean has never been much on analytics. I think he values them to a point, but that was never something that he's a Bill Parcells old school guy. He used the analytics department with the Saints, but it wasn't on the forefront of what they did. But I really think people are reading in a little too much on that. I don't think he's criticizing the Saints, because if Sean Payton wanted to add to the analytics department, he could have. I mean, he had almost total control there within reason. I just think it wasn't something he emphasized in New Orleans.
Jeff Duncan at Jeff Duncan _, timesforyouknow.com. Really excited. Go ahead. Get excited for next January. Hopefully when this book with Steve Gleason is going to be coming out. Jeff, thank you so much, man, for joining us, and I'll be looking forward to your work over the next few days.
Anytime, T-Bob. Have a great one, buddy. Take care.
There you go. The man. Love him. Coming up next, more OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to Donaldson Glass and Body. DGBauto.com is the website. You can talk to Kenny Frederick right there. Line up getting your vehicle in. DonaldsonGlassandBody.com. You go over there to Devil, your one-stop car shop. Tires, wheels, brakes, glass, collision repair. Free pickup and drop-off delivery on the collision repair. 24/7 emergency towing as well. And look, there's not a better body shop in the state. I'll put that on anything. The thing is, you can trust Donaldson Glass and Body, right? So when you go in there and you're like me and you don't know anything about cars, you always have the fear, and they can smell it on you, not Donaldsonville, but most car shops, right? Like a wolf in sheep's clothing, they can smell that ignorance, or a wolf looking at a sheep, and they're gonna take advantage of you, right? They're gonna overcharge. They're gonna say all this stuff is broken. That's not the case at DG&B. They don't need to cheat you. They know satisfied customers are repeat customer. Go to DonaldsonGlassandBody.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Ford has $2,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% APR for 84 months on new 22 Ford Expeditions. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit Dreams Come True, the local organization that grants dreams to Louisiana kids suffering life-threatening illnesses and their families. We've interviewed these incredible kids, and their stories warm our hearts. And none of it would be possible without your help. So we're asking for your support in our effort to making more dreams come true. Each year, our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today, and thank you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 7.
Hey, it's Hunt. Join me for Wednesday's edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. It's a What If Wednesday. We'll chat with Chris Demouy, recap LSU and Nicholls in SEC Baseball Power Rankings. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome back. OTB. T-Bob, Mario, Taylor hanging out with you today. Jake is on his way to the NFL Draft. Hope you're bringing us live. Boots on the ground reporting. Okay. True Circle. Where's the draft at? Nashville? I don't know.
Kansas City.
Kansas City, yes. He'll be bringing us live reporting from the mean streets of Kansas City. I don't understand Kansas City.
Yeah, it's a weird place to have the draft.
Well, what state is it in?
So the Missouri River splits it. Literally half of it's in Kansas, half of it's in Missouri. That's why you have Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri.
So what are the quirkiest, maybe chat would know, I wonder what the quirkiest side effects of that are. Like what state laws are different on one side to the other that you would actually notice by going to a different part of the city?
I think the bigger part of it is Kansas City, Missouri. Like that's where the Chiefs and the Royals, all that play.
Oh, damn. So that sucks then for the Kansas City, Kansas side.
I just hear more about Kansas City, Missouri. So that's an assumption, but I've never been.
I wonder if there's a like inner Kansas City barbecue war, where one side is supposedly better than the other. I don't know, but shout out Jake. Maybe Jake can actually bring us some of these answers. Speaking of answers, we got some in the NBA playoffs last night as a couple of teams advancing. The Suns close out the Clippers 136-130. Devin Booker, another 40-point playoff game. I'll never forget going and getting hooked up and getting to go courtside for that Suns-Pelicans playoff game last year, and before the game, making eye contact with Devin Booker looked like staring into the eyes of a young Adonis, like a literal god. The alpha, and it's funny because it just shows you how much confidence the NBA guys have, because you really don't think about Booker in these ways, but the alpha energy that exuded from the glare that I got, I literally wilted under it. Also, he's huge, which you also don't appreciate. He's like 6'4" or something you could say. But whatever. Shout out Devin Booker and the Suns. Moving on. Kawhi Leonard remains just what a frustrating experience to be a Kawhi Leonard fan. And, whatever, injuries. Maybe it's not his fault. I don't know. Maybe it's just bad luck. But, I mean, to ball out the first two games and miss the last three, Bombers got to be none too happy there. Denver goes ahead and closes out the T-Wolves. And credit the T-Wolves to sitting it back to Denver for fighting. But in the end, the gentleman's sweep is in play. The Hawks, the Iceman, Trae Young, managing to take one back from the Celtics, send that series back to Atlanta. Boston leading that series 3-2. And today, you got Knicks Cavs. That game's going to be in Cleveland. Of course, the Knicks lead 3-1. You got Lakers Grizz. The Lakers looking to close out Memphis on their home floor. And then you got Heat Bucks. The crazy part about those last two series, I mean, this is 7 and 8 seed, right? In each one? Like, I don't know, have we ever seen a 7 and an 8 win in the same NBA playoffs?
We have to look it up, but not in a long time.
I mean, 8-1 is rare enough. The only 8-1 I can think about is the Mavs losing to
the Warriors.
Yeah, the Warriors.
Yeah, the most recent one was, I think, the Spurs and Grizzlies around like 2010. It's only happened like 4 or 5 times in NBA history, so that would be major. And the Heat look like they can make a run, man. The Heat didn't have a very good season this year relative to the last couple of years, but what they've done in the play-in and now the playoffs, they look a lot like the group from last year that was one game away from the NBA Finals.
Heat culture, man. Pat Riley.
It's real.
You know what else would be real funny? I think objectively the funniest thing to me that could happen in these NBA playoffs, and I don't have any ill will towards this team, I really don't, but what if the Knicks blow this 3-1 lead? I don't think they're going to. I don't see how they
the
would.
media would have a meltdown. It would be great.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm actually hoping this happens.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's like it would be the most interesting, funny thing that could happen in all sports. Watching all those people that shut down 7th Avenue, it would turn into a riot, probably. You'd have Stephen A. crying. You'd have Spike Lee crying. Like, that is the objective, funniest thing that could happen in these NBA playoffs. Let's see if, what happens if Donovan Mitchell starts playing well? Like you said, Taylor, I don't know. Maybe Cleveland's got a fighting chance. All right, we got Matt Flynn coming in studio next hour for some fleshing. We'll talk draft. We'll talk college football rule changes. We got a lot of, we'll talk to Matt about his experience in the draft, I should say. We got other draft talk about who's maybe going to be picked coming up in hour 3. Keep it locked, OTB.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to Patient Plus Urgent Care, Patient Plus UC, patientplusuc.com, and you will see the difference when you deal with Patient Plus. You need to get in and get better for life's unexpected moments, like you're not feeling well, cold, ear infection, flu, whatever the case may be. Obviously you don't know what it is. Go in there, get tested, get better. If it's your first time in there, you're going to set up a digital profile, same way as you would first time in anywhere. But the great part is over there at Patient Plus, they got this system where in the future, you just walk in, tap your phone, and you're signed in. I'm talking like last time I got like 15 minutes in and out, okay? So all your urgent care needs, Patient Plus is there for you. Best facilities. Also for your occupational medicine needs, go check out the Mid-City location of Patient Plus. It's, if you've probably taken drug tests in Ackman Place, right? Dingy office, not good. Okay, have your mind blown by Patient Plus. Patient Plus, urgent care.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $15,000 off all new 2022 1500 SCA trucks. And all new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TB to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile. On the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further. Like vans customized for work or play. With safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Good morning, everybody. It is 8 a.m. on Wednesday, April 26th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect cloudy skies with a high of 86. Coming up on OTB, Matt Flynn joins the show in studio for a full hour of flestering, even though Hester's not here, so I don't know if it's still flestering. And we have a new edition of Would You Rather Wednesday. You can follow today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. Hour number 2 of Off the Bench, live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo.
Yo, what's happening, y'all? Welcome in. It is my distinct pleasure to be here with the My High Man himself, Mr. Matt Flynn. What's
Good morning.
up, man? For some flestering, sans Hester. That's a good point. Mario, I don't know what we
What did you call it? You call it flobbing?
Just flobbing off. Just flobbing around.
I like flobbing. That's a good one.
Flobbing off.
Finally, get rid of the dead weight.
Yeah, I agree.
And really get down to some business today.
Dead, dense weight. I feel like Jake's body type is very dense.
Sure.
He's very compact.
Real dense guy.
Yeah, well, mentally, yes. But I mean, physically, he's just also like, he's like a little square. That's why his hands are so big. Everything's just kind of, it's like, it looks like Jake was born on a planet that has extra strong gravity. And so it made him strong, but it just made him very squatty and kind of like this a little bit.
Well, that's why he was so good, was because his body shape with his little stubby legs, they couldn't tell how fast he was running or slow, so they just took bad angles. That's really the only reason he
had a little bit of a
player.
Cartoon makeup when he would start running real fast. Like I could hear like the beep, 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 beep. It's just a little like you know the noise that the Flintstones makes when Fred gets his little feet going. Like I feel like that's Jake when he runs.
Sure.
How
you doing? How's the show going today? Last minute. Bail out from your boy?
So true circle time here, guys. Normally when I know I'm doing a solo show, I do a little, you do extra prep, right? It just makes sense. Now, this show will always have some element of improv to it.
Surprise.
But ultimately, it's probably more structured than a lot of y'all think. Like, right? Like, we have every segment pretty much laid out. And sometimes we won't get stuff because we end up playing around with other stuff. But, like, generally I like to, have it all lined up because otherwise you feel awful entering a show. You feel very anxious. You feel like, what the hell's going to happen? Well,
you are more prepared than people give you credit, or more prepared than you come off as.
Well, exactly. And it's like, and that's all kind of by design, right? I want it to feel very free-flowing fun. And I want to be able to go off on random tangents to do whatever I want to do. But at the end of the day, you want to have some good structure to fall back on if you feel you need it. And, recently, a few weeks back, I made probably a objectively bad decision when I decided to start playing World of Warcraft Classic again for probably the 5th time in my life, a game that came out in 2004. Yet I cannot escape and start a new character. This time a druid tank. I've never tanked before, right? I was raiding with a healer a few years, or I said, why don't I try tanking? I've always wanted to. And my goal is to tank dead mines. And I've been tanking dead mines. And I want Mr. Smite's hammer.
Nobody knows what this means.
Dropped last night. Didn't get. Okay, you're right. My bad.
Video game. Cut it.
The point is, I've been trying to be. I've been telling myself, look, I do all my work during the day. Okay, I do everything I need to do. Take care of the kids. I give them to bed. I pour myself a whiskey.
You do too much.
And then I spend an hour running a dungeon. And last night, I did that. I was ready to turn it off, ready to start doing my work and go to sleep. And I don't know if it was the whiskey emboldening me or what happened, but I just kept playing. And I just kept playing. And then it's 11 o'clock. No work is done. I go to bed, which is still no big deal at all. But then at 6 a.m., I realize Jake's out for the day. And that's a lot of blank page staring back at you, right? And so we threw together a first hour, a lot of baseball talk. Hail Mary text to Jeff Duncan for 7:30. I got a lot of college football talk coming up in hour 3. We might touch on some of it here actually as well. But what I really needed was my guy to come through. The My High Man, Matt Flynn, there for his friends. The man who gave me my favorite hat in the entire country, or in my entire life, I guess. But I do think it's the best hat in the country as well.
Good.
And so I text Matt. I sent a panic text again, as you could tell. I double texted. And then, I'm not going to lie, I think it was going into 7:30 when I got the response. And I just did one of these Tiger Woods fist pumps because I knew I was bailed out, dude. So
Radio
thank you,
Gold.
Matt.
Hey, man,
I get it. Thank you so much
for
being here, dude.
Everybody needs a little me time at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
I don't understand the World of Warcraft situation, but I can understand binging something.
Yes.
Whether it's a audio book, a TV show, not World of Warcraft certainly, but other things.
No, but you're right. Like, it's the same thing. Like, for me, that hour, if it's not chess, or if it's not WoW, sometimes it's painting miniatures, sometimes it's like Succession, like whatever, that hour. But when I'm living right, I keep it to an hour. But as you said, I allowed myself to give into the binge.
Well, I get it. I think that's the stage of life that we're in and our peers are in, is like you go to work all day, you wake up, you take care of the kids, you go to work, and then you get home, you take care of the kids, you do this, and then like the kids go to bed at 8:30 or 9.
Yeah.
And you're like,
I got my one.
I gotta get an hour in.
I get my 1 hour, dude. It's like, don't talk to me. Just this is my reset. Is I'm gonna leave alone, even though I got freaking outrolled for Mr. Smythe's hammer. I got a 1 intelligence staff and I'm level 22. It's absurd. Have you seen the stats on Mr. Smythe's hammer? It's only a 20% drop rate. Whatever.
How many people still play the? It's an online thing, so you can probably see the community.
Yeah.
Like, how many people still play the original World of Warcraft?
Still millions.
Still millions?
Yeah. So this is what they did. So they had original WoW back in 2004, right? And you got to remember, WoW became the biggest game. That's what everybody calls it. I'm not going to sit here and say World of Warcraft every time I call it. WoW, though, WoW had like 16 million concurrent at one point back in the day. Like, it was a cultural phenomenon. You probably saw the South Park.
Well, of course, everyone. It's one of the greatest South Park episodes.
Exactly, right.
I get it. I know what it is.
So since 2004, you keep releasing expansions. You make new, right? Somewhere along the
is that the Leroy Jenkins game?
Yes, it's exactly the game. Okay. Somewhere along the line, cultural phenomenon. Somewhere along the line, the game lost what it had in its original inception. And so in 2018, they literally re-released the 2004 version of the game, and millions flocked to it. I was one of them. I loved it for a year. Then I put it aside. And then it's so weird how this happens. There's a zeitgeist going on, something in the air, all of a sudden, everybody's back on Classic. And the community is popping. And I'm a tank, so I get dead mine runs as soon as I ask for them. It's just the perfect game. It's just such the original vanilla WoW experience is incredible. You want to play?
Nope.
You want to play, dude? You could be like
I do not want to play.
Dwarf priest.
Like I said,
you're probably more of like a DPS
I got like an hour.
Yeah, I know.
A day, and I'm not spending it on World of Warcraft.
That's fair.
I'm not calling it WoW.
That's completely fair. I'm not asking you to do any of these things, but do know that it is popping.
Of all the video games in the history of video games, what's your number one draft pick?
Well,
see what I did there?
This is where it gets weird. Okay. This is where it gets weird is that I've always said that Witcher 3 is my Witcher 3 is probably my favorite game of all time. But
Witcher 3?
Yeah.
I didn't know there's a Witcher 1.
I actually didn't even play Witcher 1 and 2. I've only played Witcher 3. But that's probably my favorite game of all time. But without a doubt, the game that I've spent the most of my life on is World of Warcraft. I mean, in high school, I had over 30 days of playtime on a character. The one from a couple of years ago, Taramber, the dwarf priest, rest in peace, forgot to clone you over.
30 days?
Yeah. I had like 17 days on that. I've already probably got a day on this guy. So on Drothor,
it's aggressive
night elf druid tank.
That's aggressive.
Yeah.
That's fine though. That's where you find yourself.
Well, I mean, but that's the thing, right? Like, I want to do fun stuff while I'm alive, and if that's what I find fun, like,
sure.
I mean, it's no different than somebody like I bet you a lot of people watch 30 days worth of television and they don't realize it, right? I mean, it is what it is, and I get deep satisfaction from it. Also, I love playing with people, and it's an inherently social game, a very social game, and I find that very fun.
Reminds me of the worst feature of the iPhone is
screen time.
the
Get the hell out of
depressing
here,
text every Sunday.
Hate it.
Average screen time per day.
Loathe it. I'm like, how's it even possible I'm spending that much time on my phone?
This past week, I think my average screen time was like almost 8 hours a day.
I got 8 hours on Sunday. I'm like, how's it? What am I doing?
I was like, well, how? And then I was like, oh, well, I was on the road a lot, so I was using my maps. So I'm assuming the maps is part of my screen time.
Probably the most generous interpretation you could give yourself. Yeah, sure. It was the passive usage of maps that led to.
No, I was on a long road trip. I had it up.
Well, I mean, for me, look, I listen to a lot of YouTube stuff while I'm driving, right? Sure. So that's probably it for me, right? I'm also not really watching.
Yeah, does Audible listen to a book count as screen time? It has to.
Actually,
8 hours a day.
If it does, then yes. That actually makes me feel way better because that would be where the.
Let's just say you sleep 6 to 8 hours. So 50% of my waking day is on my phone. I mean, that's a lot, but it is. Stop sending that message every Sunday.
Like nobody needs to be reminded. Because again, yeah, I feel like I'm just doing what I need to do on my phone to live.
Like you don't want to get reminded of World of Warcraft time. I mean, you were just bragging about 35 days.
It becomes. I'm not. I can see how, like, okay, you can play this game with anything. Where I could feel the guilt of I could be spending my time better. Absolutely, sure. Right. But human beings need a release. Okay, you need physical releases. You need mental releases. You need emotional releases. Okay. And so I'm going to allow myself all of these.
Yeah.
And the looking up of hours spent on a video game, there is some sort of perverse enjoyment.
Is there?
In it. Yeah, absolutely.
It's just like, to me, it'd be like one of the screen. Like, I know I'm doing something that's probably not the best use of my time, the best use of my brain power. So I don't want to be reminded the exact stat of how much I'm doing it. Like, I know I'm doing it a lot.
Well,
I don't need the stats.
Maybe a critical difference is I have to look up my time played on these games, right? Like I have to, I'm not getting it put in front of me. I have to be curious and dive in and want to see it. But no, I don't know, man. I think I did feel in my 20s and everything a lot of guilt for not maximizing every minute, right? And you see these people who are more successful than you, and you know they're working more than you, and they're doing all this extra stuff, and like you see all the motivational stuff on like social media and everything, and blah blah blah. And now I'm like 34, father of 3, content, happy. Like I like my house, I like my neighbors. Like, you know, there's stuff I want, sure, but overall, I'm kind of chilling. And it feels great to it feels like a literal burden was lifted off my shoulders, and I was like, you know what? I don't actually care. I don't care that I'm not spending this time reading a book on self-improvement or some BS, or I'm not spending this time making TikTok videos or writing skits for content. Like, no.
It kind of reminds me of one of our old teammates. No, not one of your old teammates, but one of our, I think he was right before you, who was.
I already know who you're going to say.
Who was, I guess at the time, we didn't know this, but wise beyond his ears, wiser than anybody.
Is it Leo?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought it was Leo. Leo's a grinder. I feel like Leo's one of those guys.
It was
that
a quote from Mr. Garrett Weibel.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. I did not understand at all where you were going with this.
And we were all talking about like what we like want to go to the NFL, want to do this, and Garrett Weibel always just said, "I just want to be fat and happy."
Oh, okay.
That was
you're saying the opposite way. Yes. Okay, you are right. I have arrived.
You've arrived.
Yes,
like,
where Garrett Weibel is. Absolutely.
You have awakened.
I just want to be fat and happy. I did. I finally awakened from the societal pressures of America, where it's work, grind, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, you just want to be fat and happy.
Fat and happy, man. Fat and happy. Now, you have to do the things to get you to being fat and happy. And I think there is value in delaying satisfaction, right? Like, okay, last night, I should not have done that second Dead Mines run.
Sure.
But that's okay. As long as that doesn't become the norm, that's okay to,
splurge.
To splurge every now and then. And splooge every now and then, for that matter. As we said, we need these releases in order to stay mentally happy.
All right.
Coming up next, more Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit Dreams Come True, the local organization that grants dreams to Louisiana kids suffering life-threatening illnesses and their families. We've interviewed these incredible kids, and their stories warm our hearts. And none of it would be possible without your help. So we're asking for your support in our effort to making more dreams come true. Each year, our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today, and thank you.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walk.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR, presented by Pluckers. We're a day out from the NFL Draft. Mike Triplett joins us, and we'll recap LSU Nicholls from the box. Join us for Wednesday's AFR 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
The city streets are empty now. The lights don't shine no more. And so the songs are way down low. Turn it, turn it, turn it. A sound that flows into my mind. The echoes of the daylight. Of everything that is alive. On the world.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Esther and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
This is just a funny sentence. I don't know what chat's talking about, but just out of context. Scott Dice writes, every time I try to go to Cane's in Corpus Christi, I end up at Twin Peaks because they're in the same parking lot.
Fuck.
Too horny. I mean, pump the brakes. Okay.
The beer's so cold, though.
You can allow yourself
33 degrees.
I feel like you can allow yourself 1 to 2 cleavage restaurant visits a year. Maybe that's a bit too extreme, right? Maybe one every couple of months. You can't be going to cleavage joints weekly.
You're lacking the lodge mentality right now, man.
I am lacking the lodge mentality. You're right. I'm being a hater, dude. The beer is cold.
I think I've only been to 3 or 4 of those type of restaurants in my life.
Only 3 or 4 times?
Yeah, I went to a Tilted Kilt once.
Yeah. I've been to
Twin Peaks like once, I think. And I was surprised. I was shocked by the beer temperature. Was great.
Where at? At Twin Peaks?
At a Twin Peaks.
Yeah, no, the Frosty Mug, that thing is legit, for sure.
Yeah, and then I think in college, like maybe a Hooters once or twice.
Hey, look, let's be clear. I did, I've done ads for Hooters. I've done plenty of remotes at Hooters. Had really good times hanging out there on Thursdays, talking to the fellas.
But the beer is a sell point. I mean, if you have the technology to serve beer at 33 degrees,
yeah,
it's elite.
Yeah, no, I mean it goes down. It goes down great. And I do have to say, I know like foodies will turn their nose up at this, but I love Hooters wings.
Yeah,
I legitimately love Hooters wings. Huh. They're so breaded and so fried and so fat and delicious. We used to go there back in college on Wednesdays.
What makes something so fried?
Just like a lot of bread.
Just a
lot of breading on those.
You like a breaded wing?
Yes.
Hooters is your spot.
It's like those chicken drumettes that we used to get the night before the games, but just doused in wing sauce, basically. But even more bread, actually. I remember we used to go there on Wednesdays. I think it was like $20, and it was like all you could drink, all you could eat wings. And I don't know, like maybe I'm guilty of a causal fallacy here, but we went there like pretty consistently with Herman Johnson and all the O-linemen, and they stopped. I don't like the Wednesday deal was no more.
It's
after
gone.
a few
Why?
weeks.
I don't understand.
I don't know if we were the cause of it, but the two factors did correlate.
You didn't help
with one another. No, probably they realized they were losing their ass on Wednesdays.
Yeah, I'm not traditionally a breaded wing guy. So I've never really liked the Hooters wings.
Sure.
However, the best wings in town to me are breaded, which is at the Blue Store.
Blue Stores are really good. I'm a big Empire Wings guy. I know we're not supposed to give any free shout outs here, but
my bad.
Shout out Empire Wings. No, bro, I do it all. Look, they get mad at me. Sometimes bosses get mad at me. I'm a firm believer that if I genuinely enjoy something, I have no problem, giving credit to a job well done and trying to lead other people to that enjoyment. Now, look, I also won't advertise for products or companies that I don't believe in, right? So, know that who we do get paid to advertise for, I use, I fully support, and I fully believe in and trust. But yeah, man, look, credit where credit's due, That's all
if you do something well, you should be acknowledged.
Exactly. Exactly. In the same token, I don't want to tear people down. So when I have complaints about a place, unless it's like, some national corporation.
Unless it was personal.
I won't, I will talk about the place, but I will not name the place that I'm talking negatively about.
What about an airline? What if an airline screws you? Are you going to call them out?
At this point,
a big corporation.
I'm sure in my time, I probably have before. Yeah. At this point, no. You cannot be mad guy online getting mad at an airline corporation. I mean, and at the end of the day, dude, you just got to accept that when it comes to travel, you're going to catch crappy breaks. It's just what happens. I mean, it is what it is. So if you enter knowing you're going to get reamed, then the reaming doesn't feel as bad because it's a bit more expected.
I guess, yeah. But you still want people to be competent at what the service they're offering.
I agree, but I feel like two things. I feel like a lot of times, whatever the problem is out of people's hands. It's a function of this insane puzzle of traveling hundreds of thousands and millions of people all at the same time. And I think, unfortunately, the people who bear the brunt of the anger aren't actually being incompetent. They're just they're in the firing line.
I get it. The person that is on the front lines has no idea what's happening, and they're just taking a beating. But sometimes somebody needs to hear it.
I feel you on that, and I'm not a proud man. Like I have given in at times, and I try to be clear. I'm like, look, I know this is not your fault. I'm very sorry. I'm this angry right now, but I'm very angry right now. So I try not to just directly yell at the person, but yeah, I've given into my anger like a couple times. Like the other day, I got locked out of my hotel room, and it's for a family wedding, so it's like booked under my mom's name. I had 2 kids, like 9 a.m. It's like 9 at night. I'm trying to get my kids back in the room and go to sleep, and they would not give me a key card for the room. And I was like, I know this is my fault and that I'm putting you in an awful situation, and I apologize, but this is very frustrating. I have these kids, I got to get them to sleep, man. And granted, I was able to kind of shout out to the manager who came out, and we were able to find a way to get it done. But ultimately, that is my fault.
Well, he let you in without an ID?
No. We ended up confirming my identity.
I don't care how big the sob story is.
Yeah, exactly. We ended up confirming my identity.
Oh, you told him to Google you, didn't you?
No. But that did cross my mind.
You did.
No,
hey, just Google me, bud.
No, the truth is much less exciting. No, I had my ID. My name wasn't attached to the room. So I ended up having to just call my mom and get the last 4 digits of the credit card that booked the room.
Oh, we got it.
Actually, just makes me sound like a petulant child, which I guess in that moment I was in some ways. Yeah, exactly. Somebody asked why My High is not at the Rouse Off Lee anymore. That is not true. It is there. It just moved locations, right?
Yeah, they moved. They moved it from where it was over by the drink mix section.
Yeah, it was on that top section at the end.
You weren't the only one. We got a lot of people that reached out to
though, right? Though that's not bad. That's like, hey, everybody knows
Everybody's
exactly
looking
where
for
it is.
It's not good they couldn't find it.
That's fair. Okay, that's fair. I guess I didn't think about that.
So yeah, they moved us. So we were near the sports drink section, which made sense, but kind of didn't make sense. And now since we're a drink mix, they put us over by the Crystal Lights and all that other stuff.
Okay, that makes sense. I was just letting people know though, because I too just stock up on My High every single Friday, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, we're getting prepped for a big Sam's Club launch in May.
Whoa, nice wholesale. That's got to feel pretty big time.
Yeah, we're doing some cool shows in Texas for it.
You're saying we're doing some cool. You realize like, huh? Oh, okay, shows.
Cough
okay.
button.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
What do you mean? What is a My High show?
Yeah, so we're setting up shows within some big stores in Texas and seeing how it goes in neutral ground. They want to see how it goes in neutral ground, not necessarily my backyard.
See, how good could you make this company if you stop playing so much World of Warcraft?
That's what I'm saying. Like if I
selling My High,
stop doing all those mine runs.
What are your dead mines?
Dead mines.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, nice stuff. Look at you. You listen. Wow, I feel so validated and seen. What do you do with your hour?
That's a good question. I watch TV really, or I listen to a book.
See, I like to listen to a book while doing stuff. I can't. Very rarely do I. I'm like, I'm going to sit down and listen to this book.
See, I can't. So I've tried to do that. I find myself not being able to focus on the book if I'm doing anything.
Well, I mean, like, I don't mean anything that requires brain power. I mean driving.
Okay,
I mean vacuuming, dishes, laundry. I mean that sort of stuff. I don't mean like, no, I agree.
Well, dude, when I was listening to the House of the Dragon book.
Did you finish it?
I did finish it.
Oh, so you're way ahead of me. I stopped where the TV.
Well, it was like 30 hours, so it's
I
don't have 30 hours of drive time in my life.
True.
Yeah, so it's we were. I'll do that sometimes, but I will fall asleep within like the first 15 minutes of listening to a book in bed.
That's how I go to bed every night. 15 minutes sleep timer on the Audible.
And then let's see. I got a lot of shows that I like that my wife doesn't.
Yep.
She doesn't like to do like real intense shows before bed. So that's when I watch all my intense stuff.
Yeah. What are you watching right now?
Right now, I'm kind of in a lull right now, so I'm just watching Seinfeld.
Oh, okay, a little comfort food, a little cornbread show.
Just a little cornbread. Just I filter in like Parks and Rec, Seinfeld, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, like when I'm in between what I want to watch. Like after I finish a show, I think I recently finished The Boys, and so I'm trying to figure out where I'm going.
The Boys is good.
Yeah, it's good.
The Boys is very fun. How about the scene where he climbs inside?
Yep, got it. It was the opening scene of this season. Yeah.
And then Ant-Man. It's like the best play on Ant-Man I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it was very. Who is the set designer?
That's a very good question. What? I guarantee you they will never design a more odd set, or at least what it is supposed to represent. I wonder what that would feel like, just having the inside of the walls tickled like that a little bit.
Boy.
That would probably be good. Probably not how it ended would not. All right, when we get back, maybe we'll get into some draft day memories. I don't know. We'll see. More flubbing coming up next here on OTB.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
CentralPlumbing.org, CentralPlumbing.org, 925-8552. Okay. I told you, I trust the products that we advertise for. I love Central Plumbing. I love the Payne family. They've been at it for 50 years, y'all. Okay. And every time I have a plumbing issue, they have done just simple, like, I clogged the drain with baby wipes when I didn't know that was a thing after my first child. And they've had to replace entire toilets for me at other times, right? So small, big, it does not matter. I just make one call. I get flat rate pricing, great warranty coverage. Everybody's licensed, bond insured that's coming out of my home. My problems are solved. And remember, weekend, weekday, holiday, it doesn't matter. 24/7 emergency service from Central Plumbing. So again, when you overstink it, don't overthink it. CentralPlumbing.org, 925-8552, CentralPlumbing.org.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the JimsFirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the JimsFirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Electricity is all around us, and our families depend on it. Every day is sparked by the power of a cold drink or a warm meal, a movie night, and a comforting light at the end of a dark hallway. From sunrise to sunset, playtime to bedtime, our team is ready to take care of your electrical needs. Even in the case of an after-hours emergency, the light in your life shines brighter with Mr. Electric.
Not only did she tell us, but this young lady, stand up. And this young lady won our
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walker.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, Hudco can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call Hudco Roofing.
Give us a call, 364
in for live coverage of the 2023 NFL Draft, starting with round 1 Thursday at 8 p.m. and continuing Friday at 6 p.m. and Saturday at noon. Our coverage is presented locally by Rouse's, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Did you watch the most recent Mandalorian?
No, I haven't. I'm a couple episodes behind because I was out of town for a couple weeks. But the last episode I watched was the one with Jack Black.
Yeah, I love that episode, dude.
I thought it was a terrible episode.
Yeah, I mean, look, I thought
it was awful.
I
love Jack Black.
No, I seem to be at odds with a lot of the Star Wars fan base, and that they didn't love this season, but I did.
So, like, I'm a real Star Wars fan now because I have the opinion that most people do.
Oh, I've always granted you a rank of Star Wars fan. I mean, if you watch Star Wars, you're
like
a Star
I
Wars
was
fan.
like a whiskey in, and like I was tired, and I was watching it, but it was over, and Lacey was asleep, and I'm like, but I wanted to talk to somebody about it. I talked to her sleeping body, and I was like, what the hell was that?
See, I thought I had like a cool, like kind of detective type of adventure type deal going on. I don't know. I enjoyed it. I mean, I love Jack Black. Granted, I didn't know who the woman was with Jack Black, and I was like, she's like not a good actress. Well, it makes sense then. It was Lizzo, so she's actually literally not an actress.
Sure.
And I'm not blaming Lizzo for that. I don't think these show creators did Lizzo any favors when they're like, oh, let's put you across, like, hey, you're going to have to do scenes with one of the most charismatic actors of all time.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, come on. Like, we got to understand, like, to use a sports analogy, I don't know what, that's like making Dylan Brooks be like, hey, you got to go play basketball one-on-one versus LeBron. Like, he just can't hang at the end of the day. He could talk a big game. He could be talented in other ways, but he ain't LeBron. And Lizzo ain't Jack Black, unfortunately. But,
it wasn't great. But I'm looking forward to the next one. Like, I get it. You got to kind of throw in a weird episode of everything every now and then, just to kind of like throw.
I will tell you,
a little different.
And I'm not getting into spoilers here, but the reason why I enjoyed that episode specifically so much is sometimes Star Wars, despite being, it's supposed to be a galaxy, right?
Sure.
With trillions upon trillions of inhabitants and a ton of different races and a ton of different planets, and yet we're just always on Tatooine.
Yeah. So
we are always on this. And so when you go to a new planet that is completely prosperous, that exists outside the boundaries of Republic, Empire, all that sort of stuff, and it's a new planet that even our characters in the show haven't heard of, to me, that made the galaxy feel more interesting. It made it feel bigger.
Yeah, between that and like in Andor, I feel like we've gone to a lot of different places, right?
Andor was so tight, dude.
Andor was good.
Andor was so freaking good, dude. Oh my God, Andor was good. To me, the best new Star Wars that has been made in this Disney era. I'm kind of torn between Mando Season 2 and Andor as maybe being top, and then I'm probably Last Jedi after that. But I mean, Rogue One was really good.
I'm a big Andor and Rogue One guy.
Yeah, it makes sense. Why not? I mean, and now we're getting it's going to be so satisfying rewatching Rogue One once we have the full Cassian and Andor. See, you're a Star Wars fan, dude. That's what I'm saying. I agree with Daniel Blunt. He says, dude, Star Wars has no boundaries. Anyone can be a fan. We are all inclusive. I agree, man. If
so
you watch
it
show, you're a fan.
Is Mandalorian one of the shows that has like different directors for every show?
Yes.
So it gives people creative leeway to do whatever they want when you have the whole universe or galaxy at your discretion. But let's keep it in the pocket.
Well, what's funny though is that Bryce Dallas Howard did the episode you're talking about, and to me, she is probably my favorite of all the Mandalorian directors. Like, she has done incredible work, and I'm trying to remember all. She did like the 7 Samurai. Well, whatever. We're probably going too deep on this.
Yeah.
My bad. Somebody
gonna say I
mentioned
didn't
Star
like it.
Wars, and I just start puking information at people. It's like
let's bring this back to sports. How about the to quote someone? I can't remember who it was from Barstool, but welcome to hell, Aaron Rodgers.
Okay, yes, duh. We should get there.
Yeah.
You know Aaron very well.
I don't know why I'd pick it. Zach Wilson is going to make his life a living hell every day in practice.
I can't tell where the joke is. Like, what? Zach, what?
Zach Wilson was quoted like earlier in the offseason a couple months ago, saying that if they brought in a veteran quarterback, he would make his life hell.
I couldn't find the joke threads where it began,
Yeah.
where it ended. Okay.
See, I love
Billy
that.
Football,
I
Jets fan.
I like seeing the blank look from
Yes,
T-Bob.
they were
When it comes
messing.
to, like,
No, Zach Wilson's not going to make Aaron Rodgers' life hell, obviously.
so that was because Jets said they were going to bring in a vet, and right after the season, Zach Wilson says, whoever they bring in, I'm going to make it every day in practice. I'm going to make his life hell.
Yeah,
And so-
like he made the team's life hell by sucking last year.
So as soon as the trade happened, Barstool tweeted out, "Welcome to hell, Aaron Rodgers."
That's so good. I mean, dude, Zach Wilson signed his own death warrant when they lost 3-0 or whatever, and he was asked if he bared any culpability, and he said no. Then looked defensive while saying no.
Oh, whoops.
And this is something that I guess you could accuse me of joke stealing, because it's something that Levitard and them talked about, but that I do feel like I arrived here independently, and it's the fact that you can't have the face or the look that Zach Wilson has and then give that answer, because it just makes you look like a spoiled brat, right? It just is what it is. Like, you can't look like someone who was already handed everything, and then when they ask you after you play awful and y'all lose a game 3-0 or whatever it was, do you bear any responsibility, and just flat out answer no and look pissed while doing it? Like, he just looked. It was just an awful look all around. And at that point, he signed his own death warrant.
Yeah, bad body language. Yeah, and I agree with that. You can't if it looks like you constantly have a silver spoon in your back pocket, like you can't give answers like you got to be good.
You got to be good, or you got to go out of your way to be like, yes, it's on me. I got to get better. It's completely on me. Like, you got to eat.
You got to be humble.
Take that silver spoon out of your rear, and you have to eat the crap yourself.
Yep.
Yeah, and not feed it to your teammates like you attempt to do. What do you think, though, Matt? Like, obviously, joining the AFC East in a time where it's really damn good. How good does this make the Jets?
I have no idea.
Is your boy still good?
Besides, like, the clips of Zach Wilson being bad last year, I didn't watch the Jets.
So they actually had
both
both rookies of the years. They had a receiver, Garrett Wilson on offense, and Sauce Gardner on defense. Cornerback.
Pretty good.
Yeah,
that's a good thing. And I think did they beat the Packers last year? That might have been the game I watched.
I mean, Jets finished what, 7-10 last year, boys?
Yeah, they had a couple good wins with Mike White. They beat the Bengals too, right?
Mike White.
Is Aaron Rodgers still good though? Did Aaron Rodgers even have a 300-yard game last year? I think Emil in the chat said earlier he did not.
I'll say this: Aaron Rodgers is still good.
Okay.
You heard it here first.
Okay. Good enough to win the AFC East.
I mean, he was dealing with like a big thumb injury last year on his
I
stone
didn't
hand.
realize that. I didn't realize that. That makes sense then. I mean, that is.
I mean, he won the MVP 2 years in a row.
Yeah.
Less than
The Jets did beat the Packers last year, 27-10
in Lambeau, right? Or was it in?
Yeah.
Ooh, did it hurt to watch the Lions go beat the Packers in Lambeau and hold on to the playoffs?
No.
Jamal Williams.
No, I wasn't on the team.
The man. Yeah, but you're still a Packers fan.
Yeah, I guess I'm a Packers. Yeah, I'm a Packers fan. Yeah.
I mean, if you had to choose a fandom for the NFL.
Right. I certainly consider myself a Packer, not any of the other 6 teams I played for.
Taylor's a Cowboys fan. And he doesn't even like Deion Sanders.
Bro, have you seen the list of like the top quarterbacks in the NFC and AFC now?
The NFC's awful.
It's a
Who are the top
rough
quarterbacks?
list.
After you get past Jalen Hurts.
Well, Dak was like 2 in the NFC.
And Taylor
so it's
hates Dak.
Jalen and Dak.
Which is how you know Taylor's a real fan. Real fans hate their best players.
That's true.
That is.
I hated Romo too. I hated Romo too.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You can't be a real fan of a team unless you hate your best players because they fail to bring you the championship that you so
I can
desperately
understand
crave.
like not liking Romo as an announcer, But as a player, he's a good player.
See, I'm the other way around. I like him better now that he's not with Dallas.
They say that, dude. They say that Romo may be because what you know. Actually, let's go to break so we have a little time to digest this on the other side. More OTB coming up next.
Off the bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. That's your one-stop car shop. The website's a great place to start. You go see them off of Airline Highway as well. But look, it's just when you buy from All-Star, the ownership process is just so nice. Okay. Like the way that they take care of you when you got to bring your car in to be serviced, if you ever need to get a rental, maybe because you're going on vacation or maybe because your car needs some sort of big repairs and you need a rent. Miss Lee Sessions going to get you right. Like over the weekend, my mother, who's become accustomed to an electric vehicle, left the minivan running, murdered out the battery, could not get it to crank. It's the weekend. All-Star's closed. What I do, I got it towed there, put the key in the drop box. Next thing you know, Monday, I get text updates. I'm good to go. I have my car by 2 p.m., y'all. Okay. All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has $15,000 off all new 2022 1500 SCA trucks. And all new Bayou automotive vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou is going to do right by you.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TB to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded.
Sandergrove, join us for the Wednesday edition of Hanny Time. Scott Rabelais from The Advocate joins us. We do first class, second class, no class, and we are 24 hours away from the NFL Draft. Hanny Time, noon weekdays, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria, and 1130 The Tiger.
Man, we were having some fun little quarterback combos in the break, y'all. Oh, that's the most sports we've ever talked in a break here on Flobbing.
That's right. We're not going to do it now, but
no. I'm going to yell at Ian Marchand about his awful Last Jedi takes. No, real talk.
We're talking about this. Is it called the S2?
S2 cognitive testing. Yes.
Yeah, and we're
going to talk about it next hour on the show.
So you kind of were explaining to me what it is. Like, I'm familiar with the Wonderlic, of course.
Yeah,
but this is not a Scantron.
No,
this is
and granted, that's so flawed. The Wonderlic is because that's are you good at taking tests, right? That's
it's not flawed, but it was the end all be all.
Yeah, because you did well on it.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Like top 5 all time, not a big
top
deal.
Top 5 all time?
QBs.
Wow, you and Fitz.
Well, I wasn't at his level. Maybe I'm top 10 now. Who knows?
That's beast though, man.
Beast mode.
But okay, so this is all about, like, it's actually things like, we're going to talk about the advanced eye simulator for an ad read. It feels very similar to what me and Jake did there the other day, where I learned I was like 13th percentile in depth perception, but 99th percentile in hand-eye coordination, not to brag. But it's all about cognitive processing speed, where it's like these games you're playing on a computer and it'll like flash for like, a millisecond, like a barely perceptible amount of time, like an arrow, and you have to know which way it's pointing, or you got to track like a bunch of objects on screen at the same time.
I think I took this test when I was in Seattle. Seattle had, when I was there, they had a guy come in that was kind of a sports psychologist or sports like psychoanalyst or whatever it was, and he could track how your brain reacted in situations like that, and it was exactly that thing.
So that's what this is.
Okay.
And the data is not public. But there is, to NFL teams, they know what people have scored, and people in the NFL have taken it, and quarterbacks who are great right now in the NFL have taken it, and they've done well. But there's a quoted NFL executives who's making all the rounds. It's anonymous, so take it with a grain of salt, certainly. But he's basically saying, look, when it comes to this test, we believe that 80% and up, you're fine. Like, that's great. That's elite. You can handle the mental rigors of the NFL. If you're below that, it becomes a concern. So when it gets leaked, and granted, we don't know the veracity of these leaks fully, but when it gets leaked that C.J. Stroud scored an 18%.
Well, give them a little context here, because they're saying
it's a red flag disaster.
They're saying if anything under 80% is a red flag.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Anything under 80 is already bad.
Like, we got Bryce Young, 98%, Tanner McKee, 99%, Jake Hayner.
Yeah, Hayner. Yeah, you don't 96. Worry about him.
And then
Levis at 93.
Hendon Hooker was a 46.
How about Dorian Thompson-Robinson, the quarterback that we always ignore in this draft, 91%. I mean, Anthony Richardson's at 79%.
Yep.
So, basically all the big dogs did their job.
18%. I'm not even going to knock him for it and say that he is not up to snuff when it comes up, whatever this is tested for. What's it, cognitive function?
Cognitive processing and speed.
I was maybe hungover when I took this test, or didn't get enough sleep, or didn't take my Adderall, or took too much Adderall.
Well,
who knows?
Matt, you classic smart Wonderlic guy, you may be more onto something than you realize, as apparently the guy who's behind these testings went on the Pat McAfee show and talked about a player who took it at the end of a chaotic day, really struggled, and then retook it the next day and did fine.
Yeah.
And that it was, and then he never said it was C.J. Stroud, but he kind of maybe intimated that it was.
Right.
So, and look, and granted, now we're getting into just some of the fatal flaws with IQ tests and all this stuff to begin with.
Yeah. Maybe one of the toggles didn't work. Maybe one of the buttons was stuck. 18% is a joke of
you're saying it's so outside the norm and has to be so unrepresentative when you look at the film that he put on in college.
Sure.
That it's so bad that it's actually good. You're not actually worried about it.
The 18% is, just rip it up. I would just rip up all these scores.
Interesting. Just rip all them up.
And that's
just
kind
go
of
with your gut.
That's kind of the problem.
Just go with your gut.
That's kind of the problem with GMs and scouts. Like, they want the stats to justify the pick if it turns out to be a bust. Like, well, look at the stats. he had a 98% on the S2, and he ran a 4.5. Anybody would have picked him. I picked him, and they're trying to justify their jobs. They're trying to create job security. I think I saw a quote from the GM of the Arizona Cardinals. He said, picking Kyler Murray got me an extension. I would have been fired with 2 years if I picked the defensive end, Bosa.
Yeah, 100%. Because you got to try to make it.
I did it. Like anybody's taking them.
Hey, don't sleep in Arizona. Shots, zoom,
pew pew,
pew 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 pew. Gannon.
Jaeger bombs.
Gannon.
Jaeger bombs.
Hey, drink my high. Drinkmyhigh.com. Matt Flynn, thank you so much.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Go to RejuveMeMedical.com. Restore me, refuel me, rejuve me. You want to recapture that youthful, energetic feeling in which you used to have when you were walking around, chest puffed out, the proud cock of the walk, right? 18 years old, invincible. You want to be Vince Papali? Get back to it with Rejuve Medical. I don't care if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, male or female. Aging happens to us all at different rates. Our bodies are all different. Our body all needs different levels of upkeep. So, you got locations in Baton Rouge, Metairie, Slidell, now Shreveport as well. Why don't you go in Rejuve Me, get the free consultation, get your labs drawn, and figure out what your body needs. The cool part of getting your labs drawn is that it's caught some serious issues early on for people that's, this is not exaggeration, end up saving their lives. So, it can really benefit you in multiple different ways. Go to RejuveMeMedical.com today. Restore me, refuel me, rejuve.
Bayou Ford has $2,000 off MSRP plus 2.9% APR for 84 months on new 22 Ford Expeditions. And all new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile warranty. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
What's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walk.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
All right, let's say ah.
Where'd my spotlight go?
Super weird, but we can take care of it.
Get in and get better at Patient Plus.
Good morning, everybody. It is 9 a.m. on Wednesday, April 26th. Today in Baton Rouge, expect cloudy skies with a high of 86. You can follow the rest of today's show on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at OTB_ESPN, or catch us on YouTube at the 1045 ESPN channel and subscribe for daily content. OTB OT, live for the Mercedes-Benz Baton Rouge studio, starts now.
Let we go! All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jacob Hester and T-Bob Hebert.
Yeah.
Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob.
Hey, P, they said I got to come off the bench.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Hester and T-Bob. Yo, yo, yo.
Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome in hour number 3 of OTB. And to clear my throat, Bilbo Teabaggins, that's what you heard in the break there. We're going to talk a lot of Will Levis and NFL draft this hour as the drama is heating up. We're also going to talk about some college football rule changes. I'm not going to spend a lot of time there, but we'll get to them very quickly. The new field rushing rule changes, whatever. Real quick, I do want to remind you that 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and the Baton Rouge Clinic bring you the Dreams Come True Radiothon. If you don't know, I love Dreams Come True. Been working with them for years. They're an incredible organization designed to help grant dreams for Louisiana families, children who are dealing with life-threatening illnesses in their families. It is simultaneously some of the most heartbreaking stories I've ever heard and some of the most uplifting stories I have ever heard. But what I love about Dreams Come True, remember, all the money stays right here in the state to help Louisiana families. And the Dreams Come True Radiothon today is presented by Luba. So donate today at 1045ESPN.com. Every $5 donated gets an entry to the raffle. We got the Aaron and Austin Ola autographed baseball bat and picture, Justin Jefferson autographed LSU helmet, and a Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase framed wall print. You're going to go to the CMA Music Festival in Nashville, June 9th through Sunday, June 11th. Well, you got 3 days and 2 nights being given away. You want a concert ticket package for Thomas Rhett, Shinedown, Zach Bryan, Depeche Mode, Guns N' Roses, and Hardy. It's all there. $3,500 funds one of these dreams, okay? So just know that's kind of the number. Give whatever you can. Give whatever you can. But that's, that's a number we're aiming for. And shout out to everybody who gave at the auction a few weeks back. And shout out to Luba for bringing today's Radiothon. It seems like chat wants to start with Will Levis. So we'll start there because I agree. The field storming and college football rule changes are a bit more exciting than that. There is something, this could just be classic draft shenanigans. So let's start there because if I have learned anything in the years about talking about NFL drafts is that nobody really knows anything. Or you can have very, and it's not a criticism or a commentary on anyone, because if you get anything right, that's actually a credit to you. Because every team's goal at this point is to not allow you to know what they're going to do. But there seems to be a couple of trends taking place. One of them is C.J. Stroud tumbling. Another is Will Levis rising. Now, the most interesting Will Levis story had to do with suddenly him going from 40-1 odds to be the first pick overall to 4-1. Okay, so for plus 4,000 to 4-1. Now, Mario, I'm here to make you feel a bit better about all of this. Because let's remember, if Will Levis gets drafted number 1 overall, Mario has to eat a sock. Given that we looked up eating socks and he would probably die from doing that, we're not going to eat him sock. What we are going to do is I'm going to get a very sweaty workout sock. I'll make sure to run before the show, really sweat it out. Pour that into a cup and make Mario drink it. But Mario, I think you're safe because the Will Levis to number 1 overall story is a bit fraudulent. And there's a couple of key indicators why. First off, the actual source of the movement is interesting. It's an anonymous Reddit post. As somebody got on Reddit and said that Will Levis has been telling friends and family that he's going to be drafted number 1 overall to Carolina. Don't know if any of this is true. This did coincide with a couple bets coming in on Will Levis at number 1 overall. And then after that post, a bunch of bets started to come in at Levis number 1 overall. So how lines work, that started to drive the line up. But it is a false pump and dump here. Okay, it showed in front. And why do I feel comfortable to say that? Bryce Young is minus 1,400 to be the number one pick overall. Okay, in gambling terms, that's basically a sure thing. Like, sure, there's the long odds, crazy alternate dimension outs, but like, no, Bryce Young is going to be the number one overall pick. So I think you're safe, Mario. Where Levis gets more interesting to me is he's minus 150 to be the number 2 overall pick, which is wild. Because C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young were clearly thought to be a tier above. So the question is twofold. Why is Levis, is Levis rising or is C.J. Stroud falling? And in terms of how Levis gets to minus odds at 2, granted, look, I think there's some concrete information out here that we are missing. I don't know if a team is trading with the Texans. I don't know if the Texans have told somebody they're in love with Levis and it seems to be sourced correctly and they absolutely believe it. But for it to be minus 150, because ideally Vegas want lines that will encourage action, right? Nobody's going to take Levis at minus 150. Now, granted, there's maybe value to be had at some other number 2 picks, and that's where Vegas is going to look to win their money if Levis still ends up going there. It just feels weird, though. So there seems to be some information that I'm probably not grasping, but in my opinion, it's probably less about Levis rising and more about C.J. Stroud falling. And then there's a potential confluence of factors there, right? I think one thing working against them is, we still got to wait to see how Justin Fields does, but we've never really seen an Ohio State quarterback from this era go to the NFL and really succeed, like throwing the ball. Fields definitely got done with his legs last year, and he didn't have a lot of great weapons. Didn't have a great team in Chicago. So again, the book is not written on Fields. Like maybe this take will be awful if Justin Fields goes in there and plays well. But up to this point, what we've seen is 3 different Ohio State quarterbacks throw for 40 and 50 touchdowns in college and then come to the NFL and feel a little hapless. So I think he has a little bit of history working against him, does C.J. Stroud. I missed the Brady Quinn story. That there's some potential there. That's a factor kind of adding to this weird slide gumbo because the C.J. Stroud slide does seem legitimate. But then the biggest thing you could say is this S2 cognitive testing that we were just talking about ending the last hour with. And here's what an NFL executive, anonymous, told Bob again about the S2 cognitive testing. Quote, if you get a high score as a quarterback, it's not saying you're going to be a great player. But if you get a low score, it is 100% none of the quarterbacks that got a low score became good players. The benchmark is 80. 80 and above is good. Stroud was 18. It's incredibly terrible. He's going to be off boards. He will not be picked by those teams. Again, take everything you hear this season with a grain of salt. I don't know that Stroud is 18, right? We don't know that beyond the shadow of a doubt. As I said, there is some ideas out there that maybe it's a bit fake. I don't know that this NFL executive is being sincere here. I don't know if he has an agenda. Hell, I guess technically we don't even know if he's an NFL executive. Now, McGinn's a good reporter, so I do tend to believe him. But how in the know is this executive actually? Is he have high enough clearance where he gets the actual S2 cognitive numbers, or is he going to have hearsay like the rest of us? Okay, like there's a lot that we don't know about this situation. But if you do look at the league scores and assume that they are true from this draft class, you got Tanner McKee, 99, Bryce Young, 98, Jake Haener, 96, Will Levis, 93, Jaron Hall, 93, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, DTR, 91, Clayton Tune, 84, Anthony Richards, 79, Hendon Hooker, 46, which, subnote, that's bad for Hooker. He's already viewed as a system quarterback who didn't have to process a lot in college. This is a processing test. This is going to hurt Hendon Hooker. Again, I would love nothing more for all this crap to be proven wrong, but I don't know. And then you have C.J. Stroud at 18. So not just being bad, but being, almost outlier type of bad on the test. And look, current quarterbacks in the NFL who've scored very highly on this that were mentioned in the article: Drew Brees, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Brock Purdy. And so that 18 really jumps off the page, and it becomes worrisome. Now, for me, I don't think that something that simple can overcome all of the film that you put in during college. I was talking to Aaron Murray on Snaps about this yesterday, which you should all listen to Snaps, your best daily college football podcasts. We do it at youtube.com/thevolume every afternoon, 1 p.m. Central. You can also, wherever you listen, if you just Google Snaps Podcast, you'll find it. Please help us continue to grow the show. Rate it, review it. It's a ton of fun. But Aaron says, and Aaron knows, he's a quarterback. He knows NFL offenses. He said that Ohio State runs an NFL offense and that C.J. Stroud is being asked to do things that will benefit him on the next level, right? So his film has merit. It's not pure system. It's not like what Hendon Hooker has to overcome. And so for me, when I see these scores, I still can't imagine a world where I could let this score make me take Will Levis over C.J. Stroud. The film just isn't there. Or Anthony Richardson over C.J. Stroud. The film just is not there. What I do think, though, is that if I'm between Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, this is easily enough to push me into the Bryce Young camp. Because I already know he's elite, and we already thought he was mentally elite, and now we know it. He scores a 98%. Now, I also want to say this, because I think that IQ testing in general is incredibly flawed, and it's not exactly what this is, right? But it's also not that. I think that we, for some reason, have accepted that these IQ tests and other things like them, like the Wonderlic and other things, are accurate measures of innate ability or talent, right, of nature. I think they ignore environmental circumstances. What's your background of education? How are you feeling that day? How had you prepared for the test? Did you have any knowledge of it ahead of time? What's your cultural background like versus what the question, like there's so many environmental factors that can affect these things, and we make these broad sweeping conclusions. It's all incredibly flawed. If anybody ever quotes the Bell Curve book to you, which is just absolute pseudoscientific trash, there's a great critique of it by this YouTuber, Sean, Shaun, that I would recommend checking out. But in this, he points out a lot of the fatal flaws when it comes to accepting something like an IQ test as an accurate measure of innate intelligence, right? And what even is innate intelligence when compared to, the environment that somebody is given in which to learn and try to succeed. So, I'm a bit skeptical on all this to begin with. And then you look at a guy like Lamar Jackson, who, remember, guys, he got a 13 on the Wonderlic, and everybody was freaking out. The other quarterbacks in that class, Baker Mayfield, 25. Sam Darnold, 28. Josh Rosen, 29. Well, okay. There's only one guy that's been NFL MVP and has an incredible starting record, and it's Lamar Jackson. He is clearly better than all those guys. Now, Josh Allen scored a 37. Doesn't have an MVP, but Josh Allen's awesome. He's a top 5 quarterback, whatever. The point is, it's not to say that a great Wonderlic's going to make you great, a bad's going to make you bad. Probably the same thing with this S2. But if CJ Stroud doesn't go number 2 overall, then clearly the NFL higher-ups believe there is more legitimacy to this S2 than maybe my skeptical feeling says. So, only time will tell. What I want in an ideal world, I want more data. And they'll never do it, right? Because I don't know that it behooves the company to do so. But I wish I had access to the data. I want to see who in the NFL has taken it. What did they score? I want to see all the college quarterbacks that have taken it. What did they score? The more data we have, the more we can form accurate opinions on the accuracy of the cognitive test. So we'll get our answers tomorrow. Will Mario be drinking my sweaty sock? Will Levis go number 2 overall? Will Young go number 1? It's all there for you at the NFL Draft. And we're going to be out at Don Juan Cigar Bar, presented by Rouse's, 7 p.m. If you want to come hang out, man, it's going to be a ton of fun. Cigars, mezcal, drinks. If you watch Whiskey and Wine, it's going to be like that. Word is Island Handy may make an appearance, I've heard. So come out to Don Juan tomorrow, 7 p.m., presented by Rouse's Don Juan Draft Party. Get these answers. Coming up next, talk a little college football here on OTB.
OTB, OT.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. 225-888-8888. You need someone who is going to fight for you, okay? Someone who has proven through the years to be able to fight for you, and that is Gordon McKernan. He'll get it done for you in the courtroom. In the same way, he's helping players to get it done on the court. He's created the G Team, the Godfather of NIL, providing opportunity for young men and women to benefit off of their talents while also providing valuable advertising for the company. Match made in heaven, a match made in the Bayou. As the entire women's basketball team, what are they on? They're on the G team, okay? Go check out the Grubbin' with G series. You can find Gordon on social media at GetGordon. And you can see Gordon sit down with Flage, with Angel Reese, with Coach Mulkey. They are great. Is Mason Smith on there, which we're all excited about his upcoming season. Bottom line, join the G team. Get Gordon. Get it done.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At Corval Toyota in Opelousas, you can get 3.99% financing on select 2023 models. And we also have a large selection of pre-owned inventory. So come on down to Happy Town. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas, Happy Town, USA.
Each year, Guarantee Media hosts a radiothon to benefit Dreams Come True, the local organization that grants dreams to Louisiana kids suffering life-threatening illnesses and their families. We've interviewed these incredible kids, and their stories warm our hearts. And none of it would be possible without your help. So we're asking for your support in our effort to making more dreams come true. Each year, our Dreams Come True radiothon is powered by the Baton Rouge Clinic. Visit GuaranteeMedia.com to pledge your support today, and thank you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey there, little buddy. What's the matter?
What's the matter? My windows, siding, and my door. That's what's the matter.
Relief Windows can fix all of that. I got you. Pop, pop. What's up?
Oh my gosh, look!
Curb appeal. That's a good-looking neighborhood. ReliefWindows.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
Follow us on Twitter at 1045ESPN to cast your vote in the Citizens Bank and Trust poll of the day. Vote daily inside Off the Bench. Anytime. Hunt Palmer.
Hey, it's Hunt. Join me for Wednesday's edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. It's a What If Wednesday. We'll chat with Chris Demouy, recap LSU and Nicholls in SEC Baseball Power Rankings. Hunt Palmer Show, 1 to 3 weekdays, 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Is Parker Caddo? Is it Caddo? I can't remember how they were saying on the broadcast last night. But shout out Parker from Nicholls. SportsCenter Top 10 #1 play. How about that? And actually, so I was watching it on my phone last night. They zoomed in on it, and it was an even better catch than I realized in real time. I think my saltiness originally kind of made me like throw my phone to the side in disgust, but that was just an incredible play. Tip of the cap, man. One of a few spectacular defensive plays made by the Nicholls Colonels last night to get the big midweek win over LSU. We are on to Alabama. Emil says, one, Stroud too importantly would genuinely cause me real concerns about the economy testing. Two, Ohio State's offense famously doesn't require a lot of processing. That latter part I want to highlight because I do think that's what we all think. And that's what I thought too, right? Because like Ryan Day came in there and all of a sudden they're just going for 40 touchdowns a year. Doesn't matter the quarterback. I said that on yesterday's Snaps and Aaron Murray pushed back on it. And Aaron knows way more about offensive construction than I do, than quarterback play and what it actually takes to run the offense. So I guess I too thought that, but I would cede to him. I'm just putting that out there in case we, I just want to show that, as we parrot these lines that we've heard and we believe to be true, that maybe we don't have the best read. But yeah, that's what I always thought about Ohio State offense. But yeah, maybe not. Some potential college football rule changes. Okay, so there were some actual changes. Did y'all know now that after first downs, the clock will continue to run until you get into the final 2 minutes of the game? Great change here. You maintain the most interesting part of clock management in college football, which is the ability to string together drives without timeouts because you can stop the clock with first downs. It's awesome. Of course, you can't do that in the NFL because games would never end. Quarterbacks are too good. You would just guys are too smooth. You could literally score a touchdown, whatever. The point is the game would never end. On college, it still works because college teams are not smooth and they're clunky and the quarterbacks are not great. And so you maintain your identity, but you allow the game to go a little faster. You take out 7 to 10 plays in that way per game, which is not nothing. It's also not overly drastic. You can't call consecutive timeouts anymore. Okay, bit of a niche case. Maybe happens sometimes when the game of chess is at its highest or if you're trying to ice a kicker or something. So you can't do that anymore. That'll cut down sometimes. And then the final kind of random little one is that if you get a penalty at the end of the first or the third, instead of doing an untimed down, it'll just carry over end of the second and fourth. So some simple changes as college football looks to just cut down a little bit. One of the other things that's being proposed, Mark Cumby, chill out, dude, in the chat. Too bad we knew about the rule changes last week, bro. I'm feeling a little spicy in this hour number 3. You're dangerously close to a 5-minute suspension, okay? So pump the freaking brakes. But another proposed rule change that's going to be going down has to do with storming the field. And it's not, nothing is finalized yet, but there are some pretty draconian penalties being thought about or being considered when it comes to storming the field. Now, somebody had mentioned maybe forfeiting the game that you just won. That's a non-starter, obviously. But there is one out there that I actually think makes a lot of sense as a deterrent, and that is losing a home game. And how this would work, because obviously the fines aren't working, right? I mean, Tennessee sat there, the Tennessee president or AD, I can't remember which one, sat there smoking a cigar on the field and said, we'll pay for this every single year, right? Well, the one that might actually work to me is one of the penalties that's under consideration would be a loss of a home game. And so what that means, you know how LSU stormed after Alabama this year. What that means is that under that rule change, you would lose the next home game, which Alabama was supposed to come to Baton Rouge. So you would end up playing in Tuscaloosa 3 times in a row, right? So you win this year, you storm the field. Next year, the game's already at T-Town. Instead of returning home, you stay at T-Town for the following year. And then the following year after that, the game's back at T-Town because that's the rhythm. Like, that could actually potentially keep fans in the stands. And what sucks about all of this is the more I talked about it, the more I thought about it, I don't know if I'm an old man or I'm lame, but I kind of agree with it. I don't think you should storm the field. Now, there have been awesome field storming moments. Certainly, everybody listened to Mardi Gras Mambo and dancing on Georgia's grave in 2018 was one of the coolest scenes I've ever seen. Last year, Alabama was fantastic. The Ole Miss ones were weak. They were whatever. People having fun, whatever. But it is dangerous. It is actually dangerous, right? I mean, last year you did see fans being punched, messing with players on the field. And all it takes is one nightmare scenario for all this to suddenly just get really bad really quickly. And so I understand wanting to preempt the nightmare scenario of somebody dying. I read a crazy story, boys. Back in '93, Wisconsin beat Michigan. It was like the first time they had beaten them in 13 years. And the students rushed the field, and they were kind of hit this funnel point. Ton of people got trampled. 70-something injuries, 6 critical injuries, traumatic brain injuries, which has happened before with goalposts being dropped as well. There was an O-lineman, this tackle, who was quoted saying the scariest thing he's ever seen. He was on TV, he was crying. He's like pulling bodies out. Like, so we've already seen really bad shit. But you're like, well, but T-Bob, normally it happens, something goes wrong. That's fine. But it does seem to be happening a bit more and more. And now I'm going to go full old man here. I'm just going to lean into it and start yelling at clouds. Because the bottom line is that I think it's increasing because of the internet and because of social media. I think we got a bunch of look at me Louis who want their Snap stories and Insta stories to pop off. Like, watch any replay of a field storming last year, and 95% of people are doing this. They're running out there, filming themselves. And I get it. I filmed myself at Don Juan last year for the 2-point conversion. I get it. But I'm not storming the field. It's not a dangerous situation. So if people are starting to storm more and more because they want to be a part of that, they want to be a part of something, they want to show that they were a part of it, well, you just can't have it, dude. And then it starts to lose a little bit of its luster when it did naturally happen. So yes, I am the old man who is not only poo-pooing field storming as being dangerous, but I also think it's a function of this damn social media and the internet. So if you hate me, I kind of hate myself. Just know that. But I do think I'm actually right in this regard. Am I off? Am I off base here, boys?
No, I honestly agree with you. I think that's some sound logic, but I will say that I'm glad I got to experience it before this happened.
I know, dude. I know. It sucks because it's awesome. It's awesome being a part of it.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you 100%. Like you mentioned the social media thing, but like I think it goes a step further because you see all these like national pages, like an old row or somebody like that, and they'll post it and be like, "Oh, look at the school spirit that Ole Miss has," and the LSU students are like, "To hell with that. We're way better than they are.
Yeah.
They did it, so now we got to do it." No, I'm with you. I think that, I think it's overdone. Like, why is LSU storming the field beating Ole Miss? Why?
I mean, again, I don't want to go too hard poo-pooing that because I've always been like, hey, do what you want to do. It's not like, I feel you. Like, you are superior to Ole Miss.
Yes.
Like you should be superior to Ole Miss. And so I understand people who are like, it kind of makes you look a little weak. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, who cares? But now that I've really actually thought about it, I mean, I guess I think it's a bit bad. In terms of losing the home game, Emil in the chat says, you'd be penalizing entire city economies with that move. Just cut them out of the playoff pie or make the financial penalties worse. Well, that's the thing. I think you have to have almost a social deterrent. Like because otherwise no fan is going to care about the school's pockets. Okay. I've seen, now this was awful luck at the time, but I remember that Bama OT game where it looked like LSU was going to win for sure. And, I remember the announcers getting on the PA and saying, "Please do not storm the field after the game." Like, that's not going to work. You have to have an actual deterrent. And knowing that you would lose a home game against Alabama, A&M, whoever it is, I actually believe that to be an actual deterrent and a much more drastic financial implication than the current $250,000 fine. I do think it's kind of funny that the people leading this charge, it is a bit of a point of privilege to complain about this. It's Alabama AD Greg Byrne. It's the UGA AD. It's the Kentucky AD, because we're not just talking football. This is also about basketball. Right, so it is kind of the only guys having the storm field on. Like, this is dangerous, but I mean, I guess it kind of is. So I know I'm lame. But I don't think it should storm the field. Yeah, I just because I think it's dangerous and I think it's social media. So let me go hate on myself during this break. And we'll come back with more OTB next.
OTB, OT.
Go to ITI Technical College, iticollege.edu, iticollege.edu. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decades. ITI College has been around 50 years, y'all. And while unfortunately Lou Vega is not a graduate of ITI, there's many of you out there listening who are. And you go find ITI Technical College on social media. You can check out all the incredible events they have planned for this 50th anniversary year. And if you want to be of that number, you want to change your life, you want to get out of a job into a career, do it with the school that Georgetown found in 2022 to be the best school in the state and top 15 in the entire country. Not trade school, any school, in terms of what you're going to pay for school versus the ROI, what you'll be expected to make in your career. And so in just 2 years, day, night class, doesn't matter. Full-time employee, they got you. They can work around your schedule. In just 2 years, you get that AS degree, you get out of a job, you get into a career, you change your life for the better with ITI Technical College. Act now.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Hi, I'm Brandon Landry, founder and CEO of Walk.
Hi, my name is Dr. Craig Green.
This is Ryan Terrio with HUDCORoofing.com.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona. No matter how big your commercial roofing job, HUDCO can help.
My patients come to me because they trust that I can get the job done at a high level. Ryan Terrio and Richard Tilley have the same level of trust when it comes to roofing.
If you have a roofing issue, call HUDCO Roofing.
Give us a call, 364-1007, and we'll come to your house and give you a free inspection.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
The world's leaders in obesity research, obesity medicine, and obesity science are right here.
We're doing something that no one's ever done, or trying to answer a question that no one's ever asked before.
Pennington is a real jewel when it comes to research.
We are finding the solutions to the world's worst chronic disease, which is obesity. Louisiana needs Pennington Biomedical.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756.
Moscona inviting you to join us for Wednesday's Hump Day AFR, presented by Pluckers. We're a day out from the NFL Draft. Mike Triplett joins us, and we'll recap LSU Nicholls from the box. Join us for Wednesday's AFR 3 to 6, 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
What's happening, y'all? Welcome back, OTB. Buckner to Bama. It's not that exciting. But Tyler Buckner from Notre Dame entering the transfer portal after spring ends because, well, of course he did. They brought in Sam Howell. Brought in, one of the best looking and best quarterbacks in the entire country. I guess the people or the reason why is it Sam Howell or am I blanking out? It's not Sam Howell.
It's Sam Hartman.
Sam Howell's the old UNC quarterback. That's
he's at Washington.
I was going to say, yeah. Okay, my bad. They brought in Sam Hartman and his beautiful beard, and I'm very sad to watch the Wake Forest slow mesh without Sam Hartman, but whatever. So of course Tyler Buckner was supposed to be Notre Dame's quarterback last year. He ends up getting hurt right at the beginning of the year. Doesn't get to play. Notre Dame struggles at first. They adjust. They end up with a pretty good season. Tommy Rees, the 30-year-old Wunderkind, offensive coordinator, who, remember, Brian Kelly tried to bring to LSU. Tommy Rees said, no, I'm staying with Marcus Freeman. Well, this offseason, Nick Saban came calling, and Tommy Rees said, okay, I'll go to Tuscaloosa, which, I mean, look at where coordinators go after Tuscaloosa. All the last offensive coordinators all became like NFL head coaches or got other big jobs. Of course, Bill O'Brien just becoming the Patriots OC. So, you have to do that in terms of a career move. So, Reese goes to Bama. We played the audio the other day. Bama finishes up with their spring practice, and quarterback play leaves a bit to be desired. Milroe, Simpson, not really getting it done. Eli Holstein's nothing really to write home about. And for now, he's young. And then Saban has the quotes afterwards where he's basically saying, and he says, not just quarterback, which, well, okay, it is though. And Bay says, yeah, look, it's nice that guys have been here in the system, but ultimately we need everybody to ask themselves, am I playing up to the level that I need to for this team to accomplish the goals that we need them to? And he's basically intimating that right now quarterback was not playing to that level. And then so the talk became, okay, where can you go? Who can you get? And it's such short notice, right? There's not that many good quarterbacks available. Well, Tyler Buckner enters the transfer portal yesterday. You do the connect the dots. Tommy Rees, Buckner, okay. Maybe Tyler Buckner goes to Alabama. My deal is I just don't know that this changes any of the challenges that I already think that Alabama has to overcome. It already feels like Alabama's probably a 10-2 team next year. And without getting more eyes on the quarterbacks, it feels like they're 10-2 with Simpson, they're 10-2 with Milroe, they're 10-2 with Buckner. I don't know that any of these guys move the needle for me. And when you look at Alabama, they're going to have to overcome an incredible, and I know I overuse that word, so let's think of a better one. They're going to have to overcome a spectacular, a colossal amount of change. Not only are you replacing both coordinators, you're replacing a Heisman-winning quarterback, and this is where it gets really shocking. Just in terms of overall production, boys, you are 125th in the country. I think there's only 133 D1 teams. And according to Bill Connolly, who does all the S&P and does all the just great college football writer, statistician for ESPN, they are 125th in the country in terms of returning production. Now, they are still supremely talented. And this is where you always have to be too careful about running too far with this Alabama declining empire deal. Objectively, yes, there are many metrics that would point towards them starting to fall off, right? Cracks beginning to show. That is fine. I agree with that. However, top to bottom, they still have an incredible roster, even if they haven't played a lot. And it's because every single year they're still number 1 or 2 in recruiting. And recruiting is the lifeblood of college football. And so, when I look at this LSU versus Alabama team, I think with the frontline starters, I think LSU is better. I think LSU should be the favorite to win the West. But they're thinner. LSU starters are better. Alabama's overall roster, I think, is better. And so what makes Alabama dangerous is LSU's only a couple injuries away from being in a really tight spot in some places. Whereas Alabama's only a quarterback playing good away from being a championship caliber team. Whereas if one of these quarterbacks gets hurt, you're kind of like, okay, you go on to the next guy. It's not going to kill you or anything like that. So it's a weird year for Alabama. Again, I think they're a 10-2 team. Some are even lower than them on that. However, I do want to just recognize that let's not run too far with this, as if one of these quarterbacks, like a Simpson, Miller, or whatever, maybe even a Buckner, if they do perform better than they've looked up to this point, if they go above and beyond, well, then all of a sudden, that's an Alabama team that is capable of accomplishing the goals that they're used to. Emil says picking the field versus Bama still feels weird. It does in the West for sure. I don't think it feels weird to take Georgia anymore. I mean, Georgia just feels too complete. They're returning everybody. They can lose a guy like Bear Alexander to USC and not even blink. Which, by the way, USC, no more excuses. Okay, you have put together quite a crew for Alex Grinch there, as you land Bear Alexander, who's a spectacular Georgia defensive lineman, was a true freshman last year. He said he wasn't getting enough reps in Athens. They had him as third down pass rush specialist. He wants to play all 3 downs. I think it also helps that he's going to get paid significantly more money to go out west and join the Trojans. But when you look, USC added, because remember, their front seven was a joke last year. Secondary was good. Front seven looked like high school kids out there. This offseason, they added Mason Cobb from Oklahoma State. That's a second-team All-Big 12 linebacker. They added Anthony Lucas from Texas A&M. He was one of the 5 stars in that huge Texas A&M class from a year ago. They added Jack Sullivan, a player from Purdue who had 5.5 sacks last season. They added Arizona defensive lineman Keon Bars, who was second-team All-Pac-12. They had an edge rusher from Georgia State, Jameel Muhammad, who's not going to have anything like that you're going to latch onto. You're like, he's from Georgia State, but he's good. He's good, I'm telling you. And now they had Bear Alexander, who is one of the most sought-after transfers in the entire portal. This quote from Bear is great. He says, "Not to brag on myself, but everyone wants the big Bear. Everyone needs a big 300-pounder that can move with the twitch, the burst, and the explosion that I bring to the game. Everyone needed that as a part of the defense." And look, he's not wrong. Is it a douchey quote? Yes. But Hollywood is the land of the douchebag. So he's probably landed exactly where he belongs. But the overall point is that if you're Alex Grinch, you have to do good. Okay? You have no more excuse. You gave up 11 yards a play to Tulane last year. That is a joke. Disgusting. It's what stopped you from winning the Pac-12 despite having this incredible offense. So no more excuses for Alex Grinch. They've solved the personnel issues. Can he get it done? Only time will tell. Hey, I do want to remind you to go to Accutemp of BatonRouge.com, AccutempBR.com. It's Accutemp Baton Rouge, where you get service to the highest degree. I love Accutemp of Baton Rouge for all of my AC heating electrical needs. Look at the online reviews, y'all. It's not just me. They're incredible. 4.9 rating with thousands upon thousands of ratings. So it's time to take control of your comfort zone. Right now, you get a new AC install. You get that free premium clean air package. It's $1,800 in value. It's going to clean up the air quality of your home for free. Also, as we head into summer, remember, you get a checkup right now in your system, just $69. And while you're talking, ask about the Star Club membership. Accutemp Baton Rouge. All right, ask the bench when we get back.
OTB, OT.
Hey, y'all, I want to talk to you all about the Advanced Eye Center, okay, and Dr. Zhang. Dr. Zhang has been doing sports vision therapy for 44 years, okay? She holds the highest board certification in the state. In fact, the Advanced Eye Center is the only certified vision therapist in the entire state. And so this can be for like functional, everyday sort of stuff as well. If your child's struggling anything vision related, you want to bring them in there. But what about sports? Okay, you don't realize just how much playing sports is vision related. In fact, I've been told that it's 90%, right? It's completely underrated. We don't think about it. Well, at Advanced Eye Center, you can learn where your child's at, and then you can learn how to get better and how to maximize their potential. Set your children up for success. Go find Advanced Eye Center on Facebook and sign up for the sports vision therapy training camps coming up this summer. So grades 3 through 6, 7 through 12, limited availability. So get in now to the Advanced Eye Center. Advanced Eye Center, find them.
Our listeners fire up their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
I drove myself to the ER, had heart surgery,
and drove myself home 24 hours later, feeling fine. Starting running again after the procedure, I'm getting excited thinking about it. I had no pain, nothing. I felt great. And right then and there, I was like, oh my God, I'm back. I'm back. It's just amazing.
Ochsner Health. Long live you.
Hey, what's up, y'all? It's that time again. It's heating up. Your boat's getting ready to come out and spend all summer on the water. It's time to take your boat to the next level with front-to-back boat service, where if you want an incredible custom speaker install, it's going to blow people away in the water, that's there for you. You want an HD sonar where you can see the fish under the water before you cast, beat all your friends, that's there for you at front-to-back boat service. So don't put it off. We got the parts in right now. Get them now before they go back on back order. Front-to-back boat service.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text TB to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving.
In for live coverage of the 2023 NFL Draft, starting with round 1 Thursday at 8 p.m. and continuing Friday at 6 p.m. and Saturday at noon. Our coverage is presented locally by Rouse's, right here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with Hester and T-Bob on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 94.7 ESPN Alexandria.
Hey, reminding you that the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and Baton Rouge Clinic bringing the Dreams Come True Radiothon. Of course, Dreams Come True organization help grant dreams for children with life-threatening illnesses and their families. Dreams Come True Radiothon is presented today by Luba. So thank you to Luba for getting involved in a great cause. You can donate at 1045ESPN.com. Every $5 donated is an entry to the raffle where you can win an Aaron and Austin Old autographed bat. You got a Justin Jefferson autographed helmet. You got a trip to the CMA Music Festival. You got concert ticket packages to see Thomas Rhett, Shinedown, Zach Bryan, Depeche Mode, Guns N' Roses, Hardy. So, look, a lot of, you're going to help a great cause and have a chance to win some pretty cool stuff. It's just so funny. I have a little mini desk in front of this chair, and they're the same height, so I'm actually sitting cross-legged right now. I feel very chill, sitting crisscross applesauce. Shout out Luba. Thank you for getting involved. Ask the Bench, brought to you by Cold Curse Light, Vizzy Hard Seltzer, and Blue Moon Light Sky Citrus Wheat. Ask the Bench, top 3 Star Wars characters that are not in the main group. I'm just going to have to do this off the top of my head. Definitely Mando would be one of them. Qui-Gon Jinn would be one of them. God, there's just so many. There's so many choices. Oh, I did. Hold on. Let me look something up. I randomly did a top 20 Star Wars characters list not long ago. This will help me get my thoughts straight. I mean, is Darth Maul in the main group? I love Darth Maul. I mean, Luthen from Wedge Antilles, maybe. Yeah, let's go Wedge Antilles. Get a little X-wing pilot in there. Ask the bench. If Flynn becomes Jake's permanent replacement, you think we can get Aaron on the show? No, I don't think. I don't feel that Aaron Rodgers would ever come on off the bench.
I feel like he only goes on one show with McAfee. He's not going to make any other appearances.
Yeah. Unfortunately, maybe if Flynn, maybe Flynn really begged him. They used to have the discount double check together. I'm not sure. Ask the bench. Did you see how XQC was sitting courtside of the Lakers game? Dude, so awkward. LOL. I did not see how XQC was sitting. Look that up. Look up XQC courtside, Taylor, so I can get eyes on this.
Who?
You don't know who XQC
I was about to ask who XQC
He's
is.
like literally one of the most famous streamers in the entire world.
Like Speed and those guys.
Yeah. Ask the bench. Favorite red drink: Big Red, Cherry 7-Up, or Mountain Dew Code Red? I don't really care for. I don't know that I've had any of the three, to be quite honest.
Mountain Dew Code Red, really good.
Really? Cherry
Yeah.
7-Up sounds really good to me. I mean, that's just a Shirley Temple. At that point, right?
So the Mountain Dew Code Red is nothing but a cherry drink, basically.
So
it's like cherry without the 7-Up. Like it's literally like a cherry Mountain Dew.
Oh, interesting. I think Cherry 7-Up sounds better to me then. Ask the bench. Do you think the jacket is going to make another appearance, or is it put away for the rest of the summer season? I wore a different jacket yesterday. It's still in the closet. Still looking at it, but I did need to pump the brakes on it a little bit. We'll see, though. I mean, we just keep stacking these beautiful mornings, man. Ask the bench. Who is someone that is not in sports media that could co-host the show with you and do well? Not in sports media. Certainly, I love playing D&D with Jay Ducote. I think he could definitely always talk about anything. Chuck Pierce, Charles Pierce, doesn't do sports media. He could do great. Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry if you're listening on the radio. I just got a picture of XQC sitting courtside. He's courtside at the Lakers game, and actually that's how he sits in his chair when he's streaming. So that makes a lot of sense. He has both of his feet in his chair and his ass in his chair. Very flexible, a very slight human being to be able to do that. Asked him in, did you buy the home field LSU jacket? I did. And I didn't even try to flex and try to get a code from them. I didn't get a discount. I just freaking spent the money like an idiot. But yeah, it just looks so good. I had to. Ask the bench, when Mountain Dew Game Fuel when Halo 2 came out is the best flavor, no question. Will SEC fans of other schools start buying all the empty seats at Vandy games so they can rush the field and avoid having to ever play that hellhole again? That is actually a pretty 4D strategy there. Nice job. Ask the bench, what's older than the Indian Mounds? Or excuse me, what is older, the Indian Mounds or Jake's opinion on the age of the Earth? I actually think that I actually believe that how old I believe the Indian Mounds may be older than how old Jake actually believes the Earth is. I'm not 100% on that. No, Hester's not gone, Donnie. Hester's not gone. Relax. He has gone to Kansas City to cover the NFL draft, and we'll be doing the show with him remotely for the next couple of days. Hey, I do want to remind you it's NBA playoff time, which means time for the DraftKings Sportsbook. Okay, if you haven't downloaded the DraftKings Sportsbook app, now's the time. It's playoffs. DraftKings official sports betting partner of the NBA. You bet $5. So you sign up, you download it, sign up, promo code Baton Rouge. You bet $5 pregame on any money line bet. If it wins, you get $150 in bonus bets with which to play. But it's not just old customers being hooked up. All customers right now can do a daily, no sweat, same game parlay up to $10. So if you lose, you get up to $10 back. So let's stack these parlays, boys. Throw them out there. Try to get some big wins during this playoff season. DraftKings Sportsbook app, DraftKings Sportsbook. 21 or older, physically present in Louisiana. Select parishes only. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Opt-in required. One bonus bet issued based on amount of initial losing NBA bet. Eligibility, wagering, deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/basketball. Terms licensing partner Golden Nugget Lake Charles. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-428-2537. Ask the bench. Does Jake believe the sun revolves around the earth? No. No. Ask Vince, you make any prop bets for the draft? No. I cannot fathom gambling on the draft. I think there's maybe some Will Anderson value to be had at 3. Ask Vince, Hester insisted T-Bob wear deodorant, stop manspreading. He refused and Hester joined the circus. Ask Vince, bye-bye baby sale coming since Bed Bath & Beyond filed for bankruptcy. Huh. Well, that. Y'all have a great day. We love you. We'll see you tomorrow.